The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. Listener discretion is advised at all times.
Hello and thank you once again for downloading and listening to another episode of the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, part of the Social Superplex Podcast Network.
It's not going to stick.
I'm going to get it over somehow. I'll try my best. My name is Clive and I am joined by my co-host Ricky. Good evening, Ricky.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm alright, thank you. And we are joined by a friend of the show, Chairshot Radio world-class daily co-host and co-host also of The Outsider's Edge on the Social Superplex Podcast Network, Rance Morris. Good evening, Rance.
You forgot a few extra things. You got to add part-time McMahon.
Part-time?
I'm telling you.
Part-time?
That man is, part-time, right? When he does stupid stuff, I can't claim daddy. Can't do it. I'm also the junior member of the Avengers. I'm also going to replace Rick Grimes on The Walking Dead next season. So there you go. I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, I'm finally going to see the Avengers this Saturday.
You are bruh, I might as well spoil it. It's like you're way too late now.
Well, I do know that Bruce Willis is a ghost the whole way through the film. I know that much.
Oh, yes. You're going to love the movie then. Yeah. You're going to love the movie then.
Right. We are here, believe it or not, to discuss all things NXT tonight in a special celebration of the upcoming 20th Takeover, which will be in Chicago, part of Money in the Bank weekend. And over the last few weeks, I've been asking you all to take part in a survey where we look at best male champ, female champ, non-champs, tag teams, favourite matches, and we got quite a good response. I'm quite chuffed with overall we got 50 responses, more than I thought. It was quite a hassle collating it all together, but I've got there. So tonight we'll be discussing these results as well as looking at the upcoming Takeover card, which looks like a doozy, if I do say so myself. So, will we just get tore into it? Is there anything you want to talk about first before we discuss the results, guys?
No, not really.
Right.
If you're not, real quick, if you're not watching NXT, you're missing the best WWE product on television.
It's, I think it's reaching another one of those sick peak periods where it's just every episode is top notch. And
well, since you said that, think about this. You're the 205 Live guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm giving anything away by saying this, and if I am, I apologize to you or anybody listening. But NXT is so stacked. Leo Rush got called up to 205.
Yes.
Because they had nothing to do. That's how stacked they are. Leo Rush.
Could that be considered a punishment for his Emma comments?
He's past that. I think we're past that. Yeah.
That'll be quite good to see, actually. I'm looking forward to whenever that happens. But yeah, right, NXT is just... It is the Super Indie card. It's a Super Indie show. And I know you've got All In coming up, but NXT's roster is packed to the rafters.
Beat me to it. It's All In every Wednesday. Oh.
For just $9.99.
There you go. Look at you. Free for first month subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get that family money.
That's $9.99 sterling. Like, we pay more than Americans.
I know.
Well, but nobody told y'all to go and use sterling, okay? Or euros, or francs, or whatever else is in Europe. There are dollars. I'm just playing. Because y'all still been around longer than ours, so.
Right, there's no way to sort of introduce this exquisitely, so I'm just going to just hammer in there. We're going to start off with the best male champion. So there's been quite a few. Let me see, we'll go with the top 3, right? So with 8 votes out of the 50, we've got Kevin Owens. 9 votes was AJ Neville and Andre Dalmas, and 12 votes goes to Finn Balor. You did have people voting for the likes of Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode, Aleister Black, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre and Nakamura, but it was Owens, Neville, Almas and Finn who basically, Neville and Almas came joint second. Rance, would you say that's a fair reading for the best champions that we've had?
Yes. I would like to see a little more love go to Seth because he kind of rebuilt the brand. But I will say this, and this is no diss to this dude because I know you're a super fan of him, and I love the guy from a wrestler standpoint. But I am really surprised Neville came in second because I didn't think people remembered his run.
And I know. 9 votes he got as well.
That's a lot of votes. And the man is tremendous. He's a great champion. And he was in the championship match or the champion for the first 4 NXT events.
I think so.
Arrival. He beat Bo Dallas in a ladder match. Then he beat Tyson Kidd. Then he won the Fatal 4-Way. And then the next one was Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so he was in 4 straight. So yeah, he was a great champion, great matches, but it's just been so long ago. I'm surprised people remember.
Because there was one of the themes that I thought was coming through from this was that there was a few of the more recent acts or matches that had been part of the card, and I was going to ask whether you think that's just because it's fresh in people's memories, or if it's just
Andrade Cien Almas being one of those, yeah.
Or if it's just a case of NXT has been perfected and honed to such a degree that it's just currently the best it's been. But there are a few picks later on that won their categories that you would question. No, not question, but there's a couple of controversial picks in there. Who did you do the survey, Rance? Who did you pick for it?
I picked Finn. And I picked Finn because not only was he the champ the longest, essentially, but he was the champ as NXT took that step. It wasn't just our developmental group that has a TV show. NXT, when he became champion, when he started his rise, and he didn't win the championship on the NXT show, it was at the Beast in the East, but his first title defense, if you will, was at Brooklyn 1. In the ladder match against Kevin Owens, right?
Yes.
And that's the show that took them from doing 1,000 people to being able to fill stadiums every night. He was the leader of that actual growth. So yeah, I just think he was the best and most notable NXT champion. Plus, run through the guys he feuded with and he beat. My God, it's better than any other champ, I'd argue, except for Andrade. But Andrade just happened to hit a hot streak at the right time.
It was a hot streak, and it was so concentrated that it was a short time, but the quality of him as champion was probably how he got so many votes. Ricky, who did you vote for?
I also voted Finn, pretty much for the exact same reasons as Rance, because when looking back on it, I remember at the time a lot of people felt it's time for Finn to quote unquote move up to the main roster, but there was a lot of reports circling that Triple H wanted to keep him because he wanted Finn to sort of be the face of NXT while they make this next step, potentially moving into a third brand at the time, and potentially branching away from sort of WWE, so we don't want to be seen as the minor leagues. Now I think we're going to try and do some live events around the country as well. So yeah, I went with Finn. I'm kind of surprised that people remember Neville. I said I agree with Rance as well. I'm kind of also quite surprised Nakamura only got the 1 vote.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say his. I suppose thinking back on his reign wasn't. I wouldn't say it was underwhelming, but I'm still kind of surprised he only garnered one vote.
Can you name me one feud Nakamura was in besides Joe?
I like the Bobby Roode feud.
So I'm surprised you remember that. Mm-hmm. It was my point. It was a good feud. I was there for that match at San Antonio. Mm-hmm. But I just don't know that people remember his feuds in NXT as champion more than they remember like the classic matches like with Sami Zayn or with Finn Balor. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to sort of, Clive, you said you don't know if there's like a recency bias. I suppose in a sense it is, but at the same time, when people are putting down Neville, the kind of that shows you that people are sort of thinking back from just the last 24 months. Because back, like you say, is like Seth as well. I was sort of expecting him to garner a few more votes. But yeah, I think Finn for me was unanimous. I don't think that didn't take me long to think about, to be honest. Once I made my decision, I just sort of sat and thinking, like, can I think go anywhere else? But no, for me, it was a definitive Finn.
Well, I was thinking about Finn, and you know yourself, Ricky, that I was a big fan of him before he became the champion in NXT, as well as during. I thought the Samoa Joe feud went on a bit too long. I thought it peaked during the Takeover Dallas match, but you also know that Kevin Owens is just my guy, and although it was a relatively short time that he had the title, the storyline with him and Sami Zayn, there was a certain grit to it, a real reality that I'd really got behind. And even with Kevin Owens, when he was supposedly injured for a couple of weeks or a couple of months or so, he had this TV rivalry with Alex Riley when he was on the commentary team.
He did, yeah.
That was fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't watching like on a weekly basis NXT back then, so I would watch it as and when I could, sort of thing. But I remember it was round about when Kevin Owens had the title, and you were telling me about Kevin Owens, like. And do you remember when I think it was the first time Itami got injured and they ran an angle on just a normal NXT show, and I think he was outside either in the parking lot or just outside in the entrance area, and Itami was lying on the pay-per-view. Right, and he was on the floor sort of like selling his injury. I think it was his shoulder the first time he injured it. Mm-hmm. And Kevin Owens walked past and goes something. Didn't break stride. Just looked down at it and goes, "Oh, that's unfortunate." And it's like,
yes,
that's a shame.
Oh, you're a real piece of work.
And one other thing I'll say for Kevin Owens, just to give him credit for possibly getting more votes, or the votes he did, he is the only NXT champion to bring it to the main roster.
Yes, that's what I was going to pick up on. He had there was the back and forth. Obviously, they had to time it well with regards to tapings, but the back and forth between NXT and Monday Night Raw, when they had the thing going on with John Cena, that gave it a feel that it was like Ric Flair in the territory days. Not that I was there to see Ric Flair in the territories, but it gave it this feel that the NXT title was being seen by a much wider audience at that time, and it gave Kevin Owens a real presence, and I really enjoyed that. And when he was coming on to NXT at the time, wearing do you remember the champ is here, and Cena had the US title t-shirt?
Yeah, he had the NXT title, yeah.
He was wearing that on NXT. I thought, your heel work is just top notch right now, pal. So it is. Yeah. So I did deliberate over Finn, because I think from a fan perspective, the money that he probably bought in, even just down to merchandise, I mean, the first takeover he had in that entrance, and the crowd were like chanting "holy shit" at his entrance. I just thought, this guy is a superstar in the making, and he is doing very well for himself, I have to say. A couple of creative mishaps along the way, but he's a favourite on Raw right now. But Kevin Owens, just, for me, he wins it. I'm not surprised that Finn won with 12 votes. Neville and Almas, they got a good showing there. So we'll move on to the best male non-champ. So there are a few people that got one vote, and I'm wondering if either these people are voting based on when these people were not a champion, or if it's just trolls. Because I put it on Reddit and there's a few answers here, like the likes of Balor, KO, and I'm wondering if it's maybe just a mistake, but there is also Kona Reeves in there, and I can confirm I did not put in that Kona Reeves submission.
No way.
It wasn't me.
Way.
I might have paid someone to do it, but it wasn't me.
He is the finest.
He is.
I feel like we're contractually obligated to say that every time we say his name.
And it's not going to be NX3 for long. It will be NX Reeves by this time next year.
Can I make the argument? And I'm behind Lars. I know this. We're going to off on a tangent real quick, but I'm behind Lars. But can I make the argument that EC3 might have should have got the title first, or the at least the spot first against Aleister?
Ricky,
is it too early for that?
So I don't think I'm spoiling anything here. So last week, where Gargano came down, seemingly out of nowhere, where he interrupted EC3.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I know Caleb, for instance, thinks that's obviously going to be where they're going to go next, and maybe that is. Maybe they're planting seeds for that. I thought maybe they would do EC3 Aleister Black at Takeover at SummerSlam time.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
As am I.
Because I think Aleister Black's more than ready for quote unquote the main roster. So I'm not expecting like a Finn Balor kind of reign from Aleister Black. I'm almost expecting something like Almas, 4 months or so, 4 or 5 months with a title, and then I think it might come up after that. So no, I think EC3. I wouldn't have complained if we got EC3 next weekend against Aleister Black. I just think it's not. I wouldn't say it's too early. It's not too early, and I don't think it's going to do him any harm waiting an extra couple of months until August time. So yeah, like I think I probably would do what they're doing, hold off on it, because I think we're going to get that at the next takeover.
Okay.
He did actually get a vote, just the one vote in the survey, along with the likes of Adam Cole. Even Cesaro got a cheeky nod. Kona Reeves, as I said, Hideo Itami, Ricochet, Roderick Strong, Ty Dillinger, Pete Dunne. So the top three, I'm going to leave the third person to last, because I thought it was quite interesting how much percent this person got. So in second place, we got Velveteen Dream with 14 votes. That's 28%. A whopping 38%, 19 votes was Johnny Gargano.
Who's the right winner?
I'd say so. But with 6 votes, 12% was Tyler Breeze.
Yeah.
Oh, like, sorry, I don't want to keep talking here, but like, I think people kind of forget just how good he actually is. Mm-hmm. Tyler Breeze, but like, I know we're always doing these funny things with Breezango, but the fashion files, etc. But I think a lot of people kind of forget just how much of a talent he is, and how much his gimmick at the time when he had the whole Prince Pretty coming down with the selfie stick, etc., and how irritating and annoying that was. Is like he was real good in NXT, and I think a lot of people are kind of forgetting and sleeping just how much of a talent he actually is.
Uh-huh.
Because he was involved in one of the absolute best title matches on NXT with that fatal 4-way, and I think I think at the time, I'm pretty certain that was Meltzer's all-time favourite NXT match until Gargano Almas, I believe, or it was his highest rated NXT match or something, was it not?
No, Bayley Sasha had to pass that eventually.
Right. So
male match maybe, but maybe yeah, I think NXT got classics.
Yeah. So let's see. I think a lot of people are really maybe they've forgotten just how good he is, but I'm not really too surprised at that.
Well, let me ask you: Are you surprised that more people didn't vote for him, or are you surprised so many people voted for him?
No, I'm neither. I'm not surprised that he got that many votes, because I think a lot of people do remember just how good he actually was in NXT, or how good he actually can be.
It's a nice recognition of his work, because first and foremost, there's the Fatal 4-Way match. He had an excellent mini TV series with Itami, which lasted a few weeks. But NXT is all about developing your character and your gimmick, you could argue that not many nailed their gimmick with such precision than Tyler Breeze. I was listening to, I can't remember that guy's name. He's got an afro and he does podcasts. Sam Roberts. Tyler Breeze was on Sam Roberts, and they were discussing Tyler Breeze's Brooklyn entrance, and what they wanted to do was have drones hold his camera phone for him. He was wanting to do that. It's just logistics or technical difficulties. They didn't end up doing that, but things like that and the selfie stick, when the referee's breaking up a count, he screams at them, "Don't touch me," because he's just so, he wants to be perfect. Prince Pretty. It was really, I really enjoyed his time in NXT. One of those ones where with his gimmick he probably wouldn't have gotten a title shot, and it's the same on the main roster, but there is a place for people like him on the whole roster. He might be a mid-card act, but he's a very entertaining mid-card act, and he has shown that since then.
Well,
on you go.
I'm sorry, I was going to say I voted for him.
Did you?
That's why I was curious to know what you guys thought before I said anything. I voted for Tyler Breeze. I've been watching NXT, like I said, since the very first rebrand episode when Dusty Rhodes came out and said, "All right, baby, we're having a tournament." Like, I've been watching since the very beginning when he was still Mike Dalton. And I remember watching Breaking Ground and them showing him basically saying, "Look, get a new gimmick or get fired."
That's right.
And what he's come up with, and the little quirks of the gimmick, just stuff like he's living in seasonal residences and it changes every 3 months.
Oh, brilliant.
You know, just the little quirks like that. Or he had the old Rey Mysterio thing where he never wore the same clothes twice. You realize how expensive and how hard that is, you know? Just the little quirks. And then from an in-ring standpoint, Mike Dalton could always go.
Oh, aye.
Tyler actually gave him an opportunity. Right, yeah. Tyler gave him an opportunity to actually connect with the crowd. But he got classics. He was in the number one contenders match with Sami Zayn when he beat Sami Zayn. The Fatal 4-Way. He was in the number one contenders match with Finn Balor.
That's right.
It was supposed to be a triple threat, but that's when the time he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had the honor of letting Jushin Thunder Liger wrestle his first match in WWE, and they picked Tyler. That's the honor and the esteem they hold him in. You know, then his match with Neville on Free TV, he got classics. So we forget about him because he didn't win a championship. And but what I love about him more than anything is NXT has glue guys, right? Like Sammy is probably the most known glue guy to hold everything together, even if he's not the champion. Joe was a glue guy for a long. Like they have glue. Bailey was a glue girl. They have glue people, right?
Yeah.
Tyler was the first because you couldn't do anything on the card. Like so, when you built the card, you said, "All right, well, we got to get the championship matches, and what's Tyler gonna do?"
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the level of esteem he was, and how he lifted up the brand.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I picked Tyler.
You know, it's similar for me to the person who came second place, Velveteen Dream. He was my vote. He's one of those ones who's got his gimmick nailed perfectly, and he's in a very, very good place right now. He's rubbed shoulders with all the internet darlings over the last wee while. He's got this character which is sort of over-sexualised to the point where it's supposed to be seen as a threat to his opponent. But we were talking about this in the chat a wee while ago. I think this over-exaggerated sort of sexual threat that he poses is just a front, and it comes across sometimes like there's very small moments in matches where he looks like a deer caught in the headlights when he's facing off against his opponents, and I think that speaks of it's as if he's portraying a very subtle insecurity in his own abilities. So when the likes of Aleister Black said, "Enjoy infamy, Velveteen Dream," that wasn't just a "you said my name, I have power over you." That was, he needed that acceptance, and that's been his journey since then. Acceptance that people like Aleister Black recognise who he is, that he's able to deliver a powerful punch to the likes of Cassius Ohno. I mean, see that the ladder match for the North American title when he was 20 feet in the air? The crowd reaction made me think this guy, that wasn't a
Superstar.
I mean babyface superstar.
Yeah, absolutely. Either one. He's very, very possibly can do it. Yeah.
It's just been this amazing journey, and that everyone, the most viral gift that NXT have had in a long time, where Dream says, anything you can do, I can do better, to Ricochet, and Ricochet somersaults over the ring and just lands on his feet. And as far as I'm aware, Velveteen Dream's jaw still hasn't come off the floor. That's a threat that's posed to him, where he says he can do everything, but he can't do those flips. So I think we might actually see some high-flying stuff from Dream and his attempts to gain more acceptance from his peers. And I just think it's, if you look past the Prince look, the sort of colourful shades, the scarves and all that stuff, there's a really nuanced character there, and it's fascinating right now. What about yourself, Ricky? Do you feel the same about Dream? Did you pick him at all?
Well, first things first, I would wear the hell out of every single one of his outfits.
Goddamn, pal.
Not shocked. Not shocked at all.
No, I didn't pick my
the boots
pick.
too?
Everything, especially those glasses. I didn't pick him. I went Gargano. But yeah, everything you say is absolute spot on, Clive. I didn't think you were going to mention where Ricochet flipped over and it looked like Dream had literally just seen a ghost. Yeah, I agree. I think he's got massive potential as a babyface. And obviously the frightening thing is he's only 22, 23. So for me, there's no rush to accelerate him, give him the title or accelerate him onto the main roster, etc. But just to touch on something else, I picked Gargano, but I was also kind of surprised at the same time that Tommaso Ciampa didn't get any votes, but I think probably more so because of the last year he's been out. I think if he wasn't injured, I think he would have garnered some votes.
It's because he's a real heel. He's a real heel to the point where that, like, there's no redeeming qualities of this human being at all.
Yeah.
You know, it's past the point of, oh yeah, we know he's a bad guy on TV, but yeah, people hate him.
Mm-hmm.
And see, for all those people on social media who think Ciampa is excellent, forget yourself.
I'm one of them. I'm one of them too.
No, this man is a bad man.
So just so people are aware, every single time you see something along the lines that Ricky and Clive like or retweet something from Tommaso Ciampa, that's me that's doing it.
Uh-huh. And
it's definitely not Clive.
And anyone who retweets Conor Reeves' daily diary, that's me. I don't know.
I'm telling you, I'm going to get Conor on the show for you, so you can interview your favorite wrestler.
He can talk me through the mechanics of the Hawaiian drop.
Oh, let's talk. Guys, you guys listening, me, Ricky, and Clive have a group chat. And the background picture of our group is Conor Reeves' face. Yeah.
The finest grill on the internet.
Yep. He is the finest.
Oh. We've really not got time for tangents tonight, but sometimes we just can't help ourselves, can we? So, you'd mentioned there, Ricky, that Johnny Gargano got your vote. I understand why. He's had quite the arc over the last year or so. It's coming up for a year now, actually, since Ciampa betrayed him. Mm-hmm. And he's had quite the year since.
A year, actually, at TakeOver Chicago.
A calendar year, yeah. Well, 364 days or something like that. Mm-hmm. So, Ricky, tell us why you picked Johnny Gargano.
Before Daniel Bryan came back, he was for me anyway, in my opinion, like your perfect babyface. Like he was, if you needed a Daniel Bryan 2.0, for instance, he was the one. And it potentially is. I think he's now had 2 back-to-back 5-star matches on consecutive takeovers.
2, yeah.
Yeah, 2. So you had the one with Almas, and then just recently with Tommaso Ciampa. The one next weekend could well be a 5-star. Like, well, you don't want to throw that around too loosely, too lightly. But if it's not, then you'd be kind of surprised. Talent-wise, he's every bit as good as anyone in the company in ring ability. But for me, it's just more so. He's very relatable. I look at him in the same way that I looked at Daniel Bryan, like in terms of his character and everything, his gimmick. And like I say, I just can't get past the whole idea that is your potential face of your company, not just NXT but the WWE in general.
You think so? Johnny Gargano?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know that I disagree. I just it never crossed my mind to think about it.
Like, I if and when he comes up to the main roster, I think it depends how you go about booking him. Can he get lost on the main roster? Absolutely, of course. Should he? Is a different matter altogether. But for me, there's so many parallels between him and Daniel Bryan.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm sorry. Let me ask you this. And the only reason I said I'm gonna play devil's advocate, and I'm gonna have to be that old guy who was like, oh well, he's small. You remember the match he had with Cassius Ohno? Mm-hmm. Remember how great it was?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Remember how unrealistic it was when he won that match?
That's the worrying thing. He looks about. I don't know his official height and weight, etc. at the moment.
5'9", 175.
See, I wouldn't even think he was 5'9", looking at him.
See, the thing
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So the thing with a Cassius Ohno match is it's unrealistic when anyone beats him, because
it should be, yeah.
So
Ohno has a moveset where every move has an impact and the presence of a finishing move. So anything he does, he should be finishing that person straight away. So whenever he gets beat, he's in a sort of awkward place with that in mind.
So Clive, this might go slightly over your head, right? So I'm going to just specifically speak to Rance because I know you like boxing.
Yes.
So maybe the comparison is completely wrong. So you can just feel free to stop me or just say no, that's utter BS. So think back about. You don't probably need to go too far back. If you go back, say 5 years, or even if you go back about 15 years, when Floyd Mayweather moved up to take on Diego Corrales. Corrales was bigger, stronger, etc., etc. But Mayweather was faster, had the better footwork, had the better defense, had the better boxing IQ. So if you would like, yep, exactly. So if you're liking that to Gargano being Mayweather and Ono being Corrales, you would always say technique and precision, etc., IQ, game plan, etc., overcomes the raw, brutal power of someone. That would be my only thing, because I've actually witnessed it in fights to make me believe, well, this can actually happen inside a WWE ring. I understand, like, the weight differences, etc., were huge, much bigger than the Mayweather Corrales. I wouldn't even compare it to Mayweather Canelo Alvarez, because at that point Alvarez was so young. Yeah. But at the time Mayweather moved up, Diego Corrales was like the man at that division. He really was. So that would be my only retort to you. But if you were to turn around and say Cassius Ohno has about 200 pounds on Gargano, I can understand that.
I'm not even gonna say the weight difference. I think the difference. Well, for the benefit of those listening, we acknowledge that wrestling is scripted, boxing is only half. We acknowledge that. But the difference, in my opinion, would be that Floyd Mayweather's his thing is, I'm not going to take any punishment. Gargano's thing is, I'm just going to take more punishment than you can and outlast you. That's gonna run out when everybody you facing is 6'1", 6'2", 250 and bigger. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm not saying I don't want him to do it. I'm just saying NXT is not WWE. Think about the top 6 guys in NXT. Adam Cole, what, 5'10", 190, 200 pounds, 210. Aleister Black, 6'3", 215, maybe 220. Ricochet, 5'10", 190. Dream, 6'4", 225. Like, the top guys on that show are Ciampa, who just put on 15 pounds of muscle, still is a cruiserweight, but in the eyes of WWE. So the guys that he's facing, sans Ono, they look that much bigger than him, and they're already smaller than usual. When he gets to the main roster and he's fighting Roman and Seth and Dean and Braun and you know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing is, and again, I'm not trying, and I know we're taking too long on this topic. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to say small guys can't make it, but if you put Gargano next to Bryan or Finn, he still looks smaller than them. They're already small.
Yeah, I mean, because Daniel Bryan, height-wise, is quite small, but Daniel Bryan's quite thick.
Yes.
So, and
he wrestles a mat-based offense.
And Finn doesn't have an ounce of body fat on him.
Jesus Christ, no.
Eat off. I completely.
You did say that out loud.
That's don't worry about it. That's fine. I think just accept it, own that. I would do the exact same.
Okay.
So not like I completely agree, and that's why maybe.
But yeah.
If and when he goes up, if he doesn't go to 205, you would need to sort of match him carefully in the sense that, right, well, SmackDown doesn't have all these giants where he can still stand toe-to-toe with the likes of AJ, etc., and he might not look that small. And I suppose if maybe the other one would be is it kind of like if you look at when Pacquiao was moving up through the weight divisions. So, but eventually, like you said, that catches up on you, and it will catch up on him. But I think if he moves to Raw, you know, we won't see him ever. Like, he won't be doing anything significant. If he goes to SmackDown, the way SmackDown is now, I think he has more of a chance to succeed because, like you say, there's more guys who, yes, they're all bigger than him, but they're not bigger than him in the sense that when you look at it and say, wow, that is a complete mismatch, where it might look like a mismatch, but you still would give him a chance, as opposed to if he was stood toe-to-toe with Braun Strowman, for instance.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, and I guess we can move on after this, but if nothing else, he's over enough. He's way over enough.
Uh-huh. I would agree. It's one of those ones, the main roster is just a lucky lottery. So
can I just quickly ask one more question before we move on?
Uh-huh.
Is Gargano over because of Gargano, or is he over so much as a babyface because of how much we hate Ciampa?
He was already over before Ciampa came back. Well, Ciampa's always been in the background, but that Almas match was top-notch.
Go even further back. The reason people love Ciampa is because they love Gargano. And Gargano embraced Ciampa, so they said, okay, we'll love you too because we love him. Mm-hmm. It's always been about Gargano.
Yeah, you got that impression anyway from quite early on, from the Cruiserweight Classic moment as well.
Oh, what a match. What a match.
Can I argue that match is better than the match we saw at TakeOver New Orleans?
It's an unpopular opinion, and this might be the first time I've said it out loud, but I preferred it.
I mean, I've been on record saying that Gargano Tommaso Ciampa match wasn't even my favourite match on the New Orleans card anyway.
That's right.
I mean, I really did like it though, and I remember when Clive told me to watch Gargano Ciampa from Cruiserweight Classic, and I was stood on the train on the way home from work, and the train, we were literally packed in like sardines, and I was sitting here stood there watching this, and at one point I think I text Clive saying, what the fuck did I just see? What did I see? What is going on? And it was unbelievable.
Right, so don't mean to cut you off there, we'll just move on to the next topic if that's alright, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Right, so next one is the best female champion of NXT. In third place, with 10% of the votes, was Bayley. 14% goes to Sasha in second place, and a staggering 66%, and there's no surprise as to who I'm going to say here.
Yeah.
Asuka.
2.5 years undefeated, big dog. Yeah.
It's well deserved. She was my
Absolutely.
vote. I understand it.
Can you make an argument for someone else? No.
Can you? No. If you want to, sure, but there's no.
No, I mean, I can't.
Well, can you make an argument for in terms of creative? Because Sasha and Bayley, they had some few months between them, but seeing just terms of longevity, creative for the most part, and dominance, Asuka was. She won't be beaten. I know Shayna Baszler, they've got a similar thing going on, but Asuka's just. I don't think she'll be beaten in terms of favourites for a long time in NXT.
And the thing that you just says, where you said dominance, and that's not like a Brock Lesnar type dominance where she's booked in to squash opponents. Like,
well, she was some people,
but in a number of her matches, there was times where like, oh my goodness, she's about to lose. So they didn't book her to the point that it felt like a foregone conclusion, and I think that helped her reign.
Yeah,
that's why
the Ember Moon matches were unbelievable. I really
Bayley matches.
Yep.
That's why I was a bit confused as to why people were unhappy that Asuka had a competitive match with Emma on her main roster debut.
I think
because it's Raw. It was the first match.
And I was one of them. Like I said, and to me, because didn't Emma then just leave like a couple of days later?
Aye, but didn't.
So, for me, it was just I understood, and you're talking back saying, but she wasn't booked like that in NXT. But I was like, I know, but it was like a month to 6 week build to her debut, and I was just like, I'm sorry, Emma, but as great as you are, as much as I like you,
you got to lay down.
You got to get beaten in a minute, 2 minutes. Like you just need to get. You just need to get thrown around the ring. Emma and Asuka must be dominant. And I was quite surprised when they didn't do that. And I thought it was nothing against Emma. It was just all about, we've portrayed this woman for the last 2.5 years to be the most dominant female in the world, etc., etc. And we just have to, now her first time to the main audience, or the mainstream media, mainstream fans, etc., we just have to book her in that kind of manner where she is the female equivalent of Brock Lesnar.
Well, flip it like this. When Braun re-debuted after he left the Wyatts, would we look at him the same way if his first match was a 15-minute match that was competitive against anybody?
I agree. And I remember
he needed that dominant build.
Mm-hmm.
There's, as I said, 33 votes for Asuka, and Sasha and Bayley got 11 between them. It's a shame, and I know Asuka was very popular, but it is a shame that Bayley and Sasha only got so little. Like, see Bayley's run, see in terms of fan reaction, fan interaction, relatability, she had a very similar run as Finn, just with how over she was, and they were in their peak time for NXT, their first big peak.
Go ahead.
No, I think they probably won't get the recognition as champions alone, but I think when you think of Bayley or you think of Sasha, you automatically just go to their feud and their matches as opposed to their actual title reigns. I think when people think of Bayley and Sasha from NXT, they think of Bayley and Sasha like from Brooklyn or any other match they've had together, as opposed to their individual title run.
But see, look, so I hear what you're saying, but we're not giving them credit because we're giving Asuka more. It's like you're not taking away what Magic Johnson and Larry Bird did because you say Jordan and LeBron are better. That's not a diss. It's just she raised the bar so far. Or for my football-loving friend, it's not like saying, oh, well, yeah, Wayne Rooney was good, but he's no Cristiano Ronaldo. Like, that don't mean that Rooney wasn't good. It just means a guy's better. So Asuka raised the bar so significantly much higher. The real tragedy in the survey is Paige didn't get a vote. That's the tragedy.
No vote
Paige
at all.
created the belt.
I know. No vote at all.
Not one.
Shayna got a vote.
Very surprised at that.
Well, we didn't vote for her, so... I mean, see, when you've got people...
we voted, I voted Asuka, so...
When you've got someone like Asuka, it's hard to vote for anyone else. I just think Sasha, with 7 votes, it seems like people... See, the 3 pay-per-views in a row... I mean, see, 2015, in my opinion, every single women's match, every single takeover, the women's match was the best. And Sasha was in 3 or 4 of them. You had the Fatal 4-Way between the 4 horsewomen. You had the Sasha versus Becky Lynch. Terribly underrated match, and if you haven't seen it, I'd implore you to watch it. It's basically a submission
Becky's best match.
Oh, by a mile. Unbelievable. And then, Brooklyn 1, and the Iron Woman match, the half-hour Iron Woman match. I know Sasha wasn't the champion in that last match, but she was in the main event spot for a considerable amount of time during NXT's first peak period. So I know I'm saying I feel bad that Sasha didn't get more votes, but I didn't vote for her. So
I think, like, 2 quick points is, like, I remember when William Regal came out and made the announcement it was going to be an Iron Woman match, and it was like, oh my goodness, this is
oh my god,
what? I can't believe they've done something like this. And the other thing, it's just to sort of piggyback off what Rance said, I think it's not so much it's a disservice or being disrespectful to Sasha and Bayley. Like you said, it's just because the bar was set here, but Asuka took the belt and raised the bar even higher. I think so. It's just sort of giving her credit. So it's not, like I said, it's not to make not so much a mockery, but not to give Sasha and Bayley the credit they deserve. But like it's just that Asuka took it to another level.
Can I make the hot take of the year?
Mm-hmm.
Hot take of the year, and remember this. Call me crazy. The most prestigious championship in all of professional wrestling.
NWA
is the NXT Women's Champion.
NWA World's
Heavyweight. No. God, no. No.
Sorry, Caleb.
This is the wrong show for that. Is the NXT Women's Champion, because the level of champions, the level of competition, the level of matches that have consistently gone on for that title is unparalleled.
They had for me, the best women's match I've seen. And as far as I'm aware, James Boyd, is that not, see the Brooklyn match? Is that not his favourite match ever? Is that right? Or it's
probably is.
It's definitely
I don't
up there.
remember, but I would. He's a Rock fan, so there might be a Rock match back in like 2001 or 2 that he loved. But yes, my God, and the thing is, there have been better matches. Asuka Ember Moon 2 is the greatest wrestled women's match I've ever seen.
So would you put that above Charlotte Asuka, but we just saw at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Okay.
In terms of just in ring, that's the greatest wrestled match I've ever seen.
So
there were better stories, but
that is quite. I think that's more of a hot take than what you said about the title.
Okay. I'll accept that, but my God, and then just the Paige Emma match that started it, Charlotte versus Natalya, which was a great match, and Charlotte had to be wrestling for like 6 months total. Charlotte and Bayley, Sasha and Charlotte, Sasha and Bayley. Then what was it? I'm sorry, before Sasha and Bayley, Sasha and Becky. Fatal 4-Way. Bayley versus Sasha 1, Bayley versus Sasha 2. It's Asuka versus Bayley. Asuka versus Bayley 2. Asuka versus Mickie James. Asuka versus Nikki Cross.
Oh my goodness.
Think about it. Asuka versus Ember 2, greatest in my mind. This is NXT. Ember finally wins. All Ember's matches were good, but the Ember Shayna matches may not be
Oh, I'm a big fan of those matches.
I love them, but they may not be what you would see if you were watching Stardom, right? In terms of in-ring stuff. But in terms of true, genuine character work and storytelling, tremendous matches. It's so much quality.
Like you mentioned, and I've actually written down in my notes, in the notes app, to mention Asuka and Nikki Cross, and you mentioned it. It was Clive. It was Clive that texted me the next day saying you must watch this match, and I went in and watched it, and I was like, oh my goodness, like absolute chaos. And the finish to the match was unbelievable as well.
Just so you know, listeners, you know when it's a good match when I text Ricky the next morning saying you have to watch this match,
or vice versa as well.
Aye, when we go out of our way to actually talk to each other to say watch this. So that's actually a nice segue to the next category of Best Female Non-Champ.
And this is the toughest category to me.
This was tough. There's quite a lot of votes here, actually. But in third place with 10% was Kairi Sane. Interesting pick. Yeah, I feel the same, honestly, as well. 20% is Becky Lynch. She did very well with 10 votes. 16 votes, Nikki Cross.
So who did you vote for, Clive?
Oh, Nikki Cross.
Who
did you vote for, Richie?
Becky.
Y'all are gonna hate me.
And I'm going to have a guess at who you voted for from this list.
Go ahead.
You voted?
Are they on the list?
It has to be on the list. But yes.
You voted for Blue Pants.
No. Leva Bates is great. But
Emma?
No, I voted for Peyton Royce.
Oh, okay.
Excellent.
Longevity. Longevity. She was there. Well, not simply longevity. She was there 3 years, maybe 3 total, not counting the year she trained. But she was on TV for 3 years off and on. She truly had a character arc where she started off as a nobody and grew to be a very competent wrestler. She's still average, but from where she started,
I think she's a bit higher than average. She's actually, for a while, I thought Billie Kay was better when they started up the iconic duo.
They started, yes.
But when Peyton Royce, it was actually when Billie Kay was injured, Peyton Royce just took the reins, and I think she's very competent in the ring. I quite enjoy her work.
But also their character and how well they've done in the stories. Like, think of the 2 Fatal 4-Ways she's been in on Takeovers. The one in San Antonio against Asuka with Billie and Nikki. And then the one here in Houston against Ember, Kyrie, and Nikki. Just the way she acts terrified when something's about to happen to her. Like, just the character work. And I think the reason this is so difficult is because since all the champions have been such quality that the others get forgotten because there's so much quality with champs. So I wanted to give love to somebody nobody else would give love to, so I shouted out Peyton Royce.
See, the number 2 in that list was Becky Lynch. Now, she didn't actually have an amazing run in NXT when you think about it. She didn't
do anything of note except for those 2 matches, yeah.
So I'm wondering if people's perception of Becky Lynch now, where she's sort of underutilised and not used to her full potential on the main roster, influenced people's votes, because it's 10 votes, and when as you said there, she did have a great match with Banks, but didn't do much of note on NXT. Ricky?
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that probably did play a bit into my thinking, because I was either going to go with herself or Emma. I actually did like Emma. She came up with that whole... Was it like when she debuted? Did she not come up when she was sort of teaming with Santino for a while as well?
Yes, when she got to the main roster.
Yeah, but I was tempted to go with Emma. I just felt, like I said, I think it probably did play more into my thinking that, wow, look what she is, and why didn't we see this in NXT? Maybe she, but thinking about it, maybe she just wasn't ready. Maybe she, whatever reason. Rance, what you said earlier on about Tyler Breeze sort of being the glue, like you kind of get that feeling and impression that that's what Becky Lynch in a sense as to what the women's division on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
So I think probably more so what she hasn't achieved on the main roster, or what they haven't booked her to do on the main roster, probably played a bit in my thinking, in my decision making there. Even when I was looking at the list and I was about to pick her, I had to go double check just to make sure that she didn't have just a 1 day or a 1 week reign, because it kind of blew my mind. I was like, I need to double check this because it didn't make sense to me. I just thought maybe there was somewhere just a week or two or whatever, maybe a day, an evening that maybe we're just missing. So, but like you say, when you do sit and you take the emotion out of it, what you see right now or what you feel towards her right now, you do realise that maybe there were only a handful of matches that were really, really stood out from her NXT days. But like I said, I think what she is now definitely played a part in my thinking and my decision to go with her.
Well, I went for Nikki Cross. I've said before it could be a bias. She has a stronger...
Yes.
Yeah, there's no could about it.
Hold on. She had 16 votes. I wasn't the only one. Her accent is stronger than mine and Ricky's combined, I think.
Shayna!
Shayna!
Dakota!
We do our best to try not sound normal, but yeah.
So
that's how people from Glasgow sound.
Yeah. Here's looking at you, Drew McIntyre.
He's not from Glasgow, but
he's from Ayr. That's the same.
That's further down the road.
Further down the road, likes. So Nikki Cross, she's obviously very popular just now. She's been a bit quiet, even especially since the Sanity call-up. I just think she was a star after that last woman standing match with Asuka. It was the first opponent who I thought showed no fear whatsoever. And she really took it to Asuka, and Asuka had to raise her game because of her. And
that's a good point.
Due to Asuka's longevity at the top, I think she's got a lot of... In kayfabe, she's got a lot to thank Nikki Cross for, because she took her to the limit. She's a very crisp wrestler. Promo work obviously needs a bit of work. She doesn't speak that much. So maybe that's why she's kept behind. Still got some work to do there. But I think they were starting to test the waters, because with this whole dusty finish last week on NXT, where she basically stole the belt from Shayna Baszler, she was running the barricades. She stopped in front of a father and daughter, and she let the daughter sort of look at the belt. I think that's them testing the waters to see if she would be able to, as a babyface, get over with the younger audience, which is a hard task when you think of how unhinged and feral she comes across. But maybe, I don't know if she'll beat Shayna Baszler, and we'll talk about that later. But I think momentum is on her side at the moment. She's probably one of the more experienced in the roster as well, actually.
That's the real reason they kept her, because she was experienced and she was established. So you needed somebody to help the Dakota Kais and Candice LeRae's of the world get to her level in the eyes of the fans, so that when she leaves, there's real stars. But maybe I looked at this survey differently than a lot of people. I looked at this survey as strictly only during their time in NXT. No bearing on what they've done before, no bearing on what they've done after. Which is the reason why people like Kairi Sane and Nikki Cross and Dakota Kai, and as great as she is, Ruby Riott, I can't give them much love because they ain't done much.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name me 5 Nikki Cross matches she's had? And I'll give you the two fatal 4-ways, and I'll give you the last woman standing. You can't.
Okay, right. Viable point. But she's...
So there's no diss. She's great, but yeah, go ahead.
It really... You prove a point. You've left me speechless, Rance. Thank you.
But when you ask me on the show, you know what you're getting.
I know, but see, the thing is, she's used frequently. She was used frequently in Sanity matches.
Absolutely, she has been a very visible character, which is why I'm okay with her winning. But I'm just saying that was my argument for not choosing her
for a long time.
Was that Yeah.
So, sorry, for a long time she was the most popular star from Sanity, in my opinion.
She was the reason Sanity got over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But when we're talking about the best female non-champion in the years of the 20 takeovers, I don't know if I can give her that when I can't name 5 matches she's had. And to be honest with you, of everybody on the list that really wasn't a champion, I can't really name a bunch of Peyton Royce matches either. Emma's probably one I can name the most matches from, but which Emma probably should have won if we're honest. But I picked Peyton only because I didn't have there was no pick that was like, hey, this is right. So I want to show love to somebody I didn't think would get any love anyway.
Okay, that's fair enough. I like your reasoning behind your picks. It's quite interesting.
Thank you. Rhyme behind the reason. Reason behind the... You know what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I think so. So, I'm going to hazard no, I don't think it's much of a guesswork, actually, for the next category, which is Best Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that you voted for Revival.
Yeah.
Ricky, did you vote for Revival?
Yeah.
As did I. They had 34 votes, 68%. DIY came second with 7 votes, and Undisputed Era with 4 votes. Quite interesting.
Wow, already?
I know, yeah.
Straight up, I'm kind of stunned at how few votes Alpha got.
2.
Well, AOP got less. They got 1.
I think
I'm quite surprised Undisputed Era as well.
Well, they're revisionist history, and they are indie darlings. O'Reilly and Fish are indie darlings.
American Alpha stunned me because...
Remember how much I was a big fan of them?
For a long time, I said they were the best tag team in the world.
Yeah, they were good.
I thought they were. I thought they were. Like, I'm not going to go away from a Revival pick, but I'm just surprised that Alpha got so few.
That best in the world.
DIY was 7. No, I think this was more like before the Usos became the Usos. Because I get you. Yeah.
At that time.
Like at that time. Right now, no. Like at that time, about 2 or so years ago, it was right before the Usos became what they are now. But like, I don't think there's any dispute who the best tag team in the world at the moment are. So, but I'm just quite.
Shout out to the Bucks too. They deserve to be in a conversation.
Yeah. Most definitely. And the fact that they only do flips and stuff is just utter nonsense. I find that quite laughable. It's just people who see a few minutes. If not, like I understand why you might have that thinking, but that's not all they do.
To be fair, they do flips, super kicks, and now they do a sharpshooter. So there's that.
But I think more than anything, like, I'm not surprised the Revival win. It's just how few votes the American Alpha got. But like now, I took notes as well, and I was just listing some tag matches, and I seem to have Revival involved in like just about all of them. So it kind of backs up why I chose the Revival, and I think why a lot of people also chose the Revival.
Well, you jumping in. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
please.
no.
I'll
On you go.
I just want to say this for the Revival. All of your favorite tag teams that came in that era, why are they your favorite tag teams? Because the Revival made them.
Exactly.
Thinking like that, bruh. The only reason we love American Alpha is because the Revival made us love American Alpha. Enzo and Cass were over, but when they fought the Revival, that made them feel legit.
Yes.
I will say this. I liked Alpha. Not only because the Revival played a part, but they both seem to remind me so much of Kurt Angle, and I think for that reason alone,
that's because Jordan's his son.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of just like, right, okay, and it was the moment where Jason Jordan kept pulling his straps down. I was like, it just brought back sort of nostalgic memories, and I think that kind of made me warm to them even more, just purely because I remembered Kurt. But yeah, like I can't argue with your point about the revival. Like I can't.
Rance hit the nail on the head. I mean, they even got Enzo and Cass bringing out really good matches at London and the Roadblock.
Oh my God, that London match, Jesus Christ! And the Roadblock match.
The Roadblock match was that Roadblock pay-per-view was stunning.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Why, but it was.
But do you remember when Enzo and Cass came out and done their usual sort of spiel, their usual introduction? The crowd were going crazy. It was an unbelievable crowd. The NXT London one.
They were melting.
That was the pay-per-view. That was the takeover where, like a couple of days before, Roman killed Triple H, wasn't it?
I think it was London that started the White Stripes 7 Nation Army chant for Amore.
No, they started everything because they all started hey Bailey, ooh, ha. I want to know.
Hate that song.
I was not a fan of the London crowd, to be honest. I don't know. It's just
they were from a Yank like me. It was tremendous.
Well, they gave Corbin a lot of stick that felt a bit too personal. They were saying you're shit and you know you are. I thought that's not fair.
That's funny.
I think
it's disrespectful, but it's funny.
I think it's because we hear this kind of thing on a weekly basis, so we're like, again.
And we liken it to the football, which has a vitriolic atmosphere. So maybe that's why. But the revival, Enzo and Cass, American Alpha, that Dallas match was something else. AOP. Do you remember the 2 out of 3 Falls match on TV between Revival and Alpha?
Yeah,
I have that.
DIY at Brooklyn 2, DIY
and Toronto, wasn't it?
Oh, beautiful match. That see the final. We will spoilers, but we'll be talking about that match later. I just think the Revival, their gimmick can seem a wee bit sort of from the Jim Cornette era.
Well, that's what we're saving, by the way. You beat me to it. If they bring Jim Cornette to be their manager, the Revival is saved.
Goddamn!
Now you listen here, pal. You need to map. Yeah,
motherfucker.
He would need to bring his tennis racket with him, though.
Of course.
It's just there's words can't describe how accomplished they were for me. And it's a real shame to see what's happening to them on the main roster because they're made to look naive and not have an in-ring, like an awareness of the ring. Because in NXT, they cut the ring off, they climbed underneath the ring, crawled underneath the ring, they used blind tags to their advantage, they faked tags, they got under the skin of their opponents purely because they were better than them. That was all that was the only reason that the faces couldn't hack it, because they could back up their talk.
Well,
regularly.
The whole no flips, no fists thing that's talk about, their motto, they are a throwback tag team. They remind you so much of the old school tag teams that, like you said, with the heel tactics and the certain things that they do.
They are the reincarnation of Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard.
Hence the name Revival, you know.
That's what you look at. Boy thinking. I see you, Clive.
I see you too. Thanks to Skype.
Literally, right?
So now the next choice, we mentioned Enzo and Cass with DIY. With recent events, this might actually be a bit of a controversial choice, but people still picked them. Enzo and Cass.
It shouldn't be controversial because
I know
people's work has to stand alone, and what those two did in NXT, my God.
Well, for non tag champ the best tag team who were not champions, Enzo and Cass won with 18% of the vote. We can't say that they weren't good in NXT. They had the perfect formula of little guy gets thrown around the ring and they do the hot tag for the tall guy, and they kept losing a lot of the time, so it meant that they were always the underdogs. So I can understand it, and this was before Enzo's promos started to grate. I think it was because Enzo was doing these promos every 2 or 3 weeks rather than every week, and every fucking 10 minutes on 205 Live.
And it wasn't too long either.
Mm-hmm.
It was the perfect length.
Yeah. 6 votes, 12% for both the Street Profits and Heavy Machinery. I thought that was interesting.
Shocking.
What's shocking about it?
Shocking.
Right. What's shocking about it?
The fact that in the history of NXT, the Street Profits and Heavy Machinery are the third best tag team to never win a title. Let's be real. And I love those guys, but let's be real. Come on, dog.
Do you think this is the recent memory one?
Revisionist history. I would bet money that people couldn't remember any other tag teams. So they were like, oh yeah, the Street Profits were on TV the other day.
That's possible. I think Heavy Machinery are good. They've still got a lot of work to do, though.
Both of them are good. Both teams are really good.
They are good.
Wait. Am I seeing this right?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Your eyes are not deceiving you. Yes.
3 votes
for the War Raiders.
Yeah.
Yes. They've wrestled 2 matches. Yes.
Like Finn and Joe.
Yes. Mustache Mountain and Too Cool. Yes.
Too Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Too Cool. Don't knock Too Cool.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. See, Finn and Joe I get.
Yeah, Enzo and Cass, it's like that. You can't argue that either.
You can't teach that.
You really can't. You can't. I'm just looking at this.
TM6 one I'm cool with.
Yeah, I like them.
I'm fine with them being number 2.
And I like this heel turn, this cheating gimmick they've got. I like that. I think
the only thing that will help them is if they start coming out to the ring and spraying Axe over their bodies.
Spraying
Axe
what?
body spray. Y'all know what that is, right? Axe body spray.
Well, I know of body spray, but not Axe.
Oh, okay. Well, my American friends will know what that means.
I'm going to Google it.
The prevailing thought process is that act like douchebags spray Axe.
Down, like diagonally?
Yes.
And that's it. So the other armpit is still stinking.
Oh, yeah. Pop. Then, yeah, good point. Yeah.
Oh, it's Lynx.
Is it Lynx over here? Right.
Yeah. Right, okay, yeah.
This podcast is brought to you in association with Axe Body Spray. And Me Undies and what do you call them? Uber, all of them. We couldn't get DDP Yoga though.
Oh my god.
Anything else to add about the tag team non-champs? Will we just move on?
Yeah.
Sanity, I think. Excuse me. I think Sanity did deserve it. Wait, no, but Sanity won titles, so never mind.
Best men's title match. As you can imagine, this was a pretty one-sided affair.
Yep.
A couple of teams got 1 vote, and see when you think about it. Right, so Joe versus Nakamura. The fatal 4-way between Zayn, Neville, Breeze and Kidd. Right, a couple of votes for Owens and Sami Zayn, Owens and Balor, and Almas versus Black. 5 votes for Sami Zayn and Neville, and 36 votes for the winner. It's hard to dispute this. I mean, I'm happy to dispute it or discuss it, but Almas versus Gargano with 72% of the vote for best NXT title match.
5 stars, baby. 5 stars, no Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, I don't think you can argue with that at all. I mean, I think I enjoyed Almas and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, but it's not better than
No, definitely not. I'm just throwing out a couple of other ones that I liked. Almas Black, I said, even though that wasn't given 5 stars, it's 5 stars to me. Is that Owens Balor? That was the ladder match, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I think while that was a good match, I think it suffered from coming right after the Sasha Banks and Bayley match. So I think I'd need to watch it again with fresh eyes.
That's the only problem, because that match was 4.5 stars in its own right, but it was came behind a tornado. Can I give an argument for, not for the best match, but for another match that nobody mentioned? The Finn Balor Samoa Joe match in London, when Joe started bleeding at the beginning of the match.
Oh, Dallas, you mean?
Was that Dallas?
Yeah. The London one, he came down as Jack the Ripper, and Dallas he was Leatherface.
Leatherface, yeah.
That was fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
That chainsaw
that
stuff.
Was a tremendous match. And the best part about the match was Joe bled early, and they kept stopping him from doing what he wanted to do, which just enraged him more.
Oh, they couldn't have asked for a better accident to happen for that match.
Yep, absolutely. So that I just wanted to throw some love to that.
Yeah, I want to throw some love to the first Nakamura-Bobby Roode match. That was a really good...
That was at what? Was that the Orlando?
Yeah, that was a Survivor Series weekend, was it not?
San Antonio.
Right.
Wasn't it?
I think so, November. The first one that they had.
Yeah. No, well, San Antonio was Royal Rumble weekend. The November match was Joe Nakamura too, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up with my big four. It was a Royal Rumble match. That was really good. I like that one. But Almas and Gargano, we've talked about it many times over the course of the podcast's history. It's a fantastic work of art.
It's a story. It's a novel. It's War and Peace in wrestling form.
And I don't even think it suffered from the heel winning at all. I like how...
No, I think it's better because the heel won.
I like how Almas elevates his wins with the elevated DDT that he does, the double underhook from the top rope. I really enjoy that. So, I mean, Ricky,
what was the one? Roode and Nakamura Orlando, was that WrestleMania weekend?
That was the rematch. Yes.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that match.
It was a good series they had.
It was. I think. Let me just pull my notes up for a second.
Yeah, well, while you're doing that, because it was Roode challenged at San Antonio. He won. Nakamura had a rematch at Orlando, got called up the next night, or the 2 nights later.
Yeah.
And they had the Money in the Bank in Chicago,
Atami.
where Atami, that random ass Atami match, and that's where DIY ended the show so they could break up. And then Bobby had his swan song at Brooklyn against Drew McIntyre.
That's right. Yeah, like that Nakamura Roode, I'm surprised that never got a little bit of love. But overall, I don't think you can really argue with number one at all.
No.
Yeah, I don't have too much else to say about it, if I'm honest.
No.
I can't even begin to argue against Gargano and Almas. For a while actually, I tried to convince myself that I actually did prefer Almas and Black over Gargano and Andrade Almas.
That's okay if you do, but you can't change your role.
But I don't. I think it's sometimes that. For me, I think the thinking was that I don't think that got the true appreciation and true love it truly deserved. And I don't know if that's more so from Meltzer or the Observer or whoever, or just the fans in general.
It was sandwiched between 2 5-star matches, Ricky. That's kind of hard to deal with.
And that's like I just feel like if you go watch that match on its own, and as difficult as you try and forget what happened before and what's about to take place, that match alone in my mind was 5-star, and I think that match alone was probably my favourite of that night. So, but no, I don't think I could convince myself to go against Almas and Gargano.
The only thing Almas and Gargano has over Aleister Black and Almas is this. That was the culmination of a 3-match series.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a story that literally spanned a year, almost.
Yep.
Mhm.
So like stuff like that, and they actually tied everything into the story. So it just I think the story puts it a notch over Black and Almas, because that wasn't really no story.
Well, the next one is the best women's title match, and again, there wasn't much. We got a few votes, 3 votes for the last women's standing match. No, that was a women's title match, wasn't it? It just wasn't on a takeover.
Yeah, it was just on a normal NXT episode.
So the last women's standing match, 7 votes for Emma versus Asuka, 2. So that'll be at the Brooklyn.
Best wrestled women's match in WWE history, for the record.
Like the technical wrestling side of things, yeah.
Just the match, yes.
Oh, okay. But with 37 votes, 74% for Sasha versus Bayley at Brooklyn 1.
It deserved, yeah. I mean, like, I ain't gonna hate. It's the package. If I were to send you a gift, and the gift was like $1 million cash, and the box was literally diamonds taped to, like, glued together in a box, and I sent that to you, that's what the Sasha Bayley match was. It was a beautiful package with a tremendous gift inside.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed. I will include Charlotte and Asuka in this. I've not seen a better women's match in all my days, apart from the last women's standing match. Anyway, Sasha Bayley one was the story told before the match and after the match, actually leading up to the Iron Woman, and during the match was top notch. And for Bayley to win in such an emphatic way with that reverse Frankensteiner off the top rope, that blew me away. Just couldn't believe what I'd witnessed when Bayley won that. You notice that throughout Bayley's career, she does the backwards roly-poly and then tightens her ponytail again.
And that's its own. It's on.
But she was too preoccupied with trying to beat Sasha in that match that she didn't touch her ponytail. And that's a very small character. What are you laughing at me for?
No, but yes, you're right. But it's just, damn, she lost the match because she didn't tighten the ponytail.
No, she won the match. She won that match. Yeah. Just that added to the visual that she had been through a war, and it had a profound emotional effect on me, to be honest with you, and it still does, thinking about it. Ricky, what do you think?
Oh, I think the match at Takeover, I think that was a moment that a lot of people, certainly for me, that I wouldn't say the penny drop, but I think at that moment I was like, right, well, we're now finally at an age, at a time where women are capable and are able to close a pay-per-view. I think we're now well and truly past the whole, the women must be beautiful and etc, etc. It was now, can you wrestle? And that's all we seem to care about. So, in terms of the actual match itself, I think I did say that Charlotte and Asuka is probably the greatest women's match I've watched.
That's not, you wouldn't be wrong in your assessment. I disagree. Yeah. Tremendous match.
Yeah, I agree with the whole Asuka Ember Moon as well. And this would be the other one. It would be, if someone wanted to say it's this was the greatest match I've ever seen, I'm not going to sit and debate with you. I will accept it because it was that damn great. And like you say, Kevin Owens and Finn Balor, who are two of the absolute best in the company at the moment, their match itself, people just don't talk about that match as great as their match was, because all they think about is this match that took place before it.
Yep.
And I think that's a testament to the women themselves. I think
tremendously, yes.
When you have a great match that comes on after, but no one's talking about that because they're too busy talking about your matches, that alone tells you just like I said how great that match was. And that's where as fans or just people or just in general can truly appreciate the greatness that we witnessed that night.
is truly unfollowable.
Yep.
And we got to give some love to that video package for that match. And if I can, I guess we can shout him out. I guess, but Tito from LOP never watched NXT really before Brooklyn, the first one, and he watched the whole card. But he talks very fondly about that. If you follow him on Twitter or read the stuff about that Sasha Bayley match, because people like me and I'm assuming you guys, we watched the whole rise of Bayley when there was a point that I thought she was going to be the female Eugene. She was so awkward, and then she grew to. If you could ever make a human being spit out vape, I just made Brian do that. But but no, really. But she built up and all this, and I don't have to go through her character arc. We all know it. But that video package encapsulated that perfectly. It's almost as important to a match as the Miz hype video at 27 or the Rock Austin hype video at 17 was. Like, it was that important to the match because it really truly showed how, like, what she had to go through just to get there. So yeah, need to show some love to that.
You talk about the hype video. One of my absolute favourite moments from that match was Sasha's entrance, where she comes down in the SUV and she's walking down with the four sort of bodyguards, and she gets lifted into the ring.
Yeah.
And then you had the commentary as well, where Corey Graves was saying this is how the boss arrives, etc. Like, even just her entrance, I absolutely loved, because it was a shot of Bayley in the ring. Sasha's music hits, and you just saw Bayley's face turning around and just sort of like
smile.
Like, here she comes. It's smile. Like, it's on. Yeah. Let's do it. So yeah, Sasha's entrance that night, I thought was absolutely unbelievable as well.
And Bayley, this was right after Dusty died, and Bayley was wearing polka dots for Dusty.
So she was.
And the funny thing you say is that she could have become the female Eugene. I've actually never heard that. Clive used to always say she will become the female equivalent of Cena.
Well, I mean, we're talking about different points of their careers.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, so you go. It just shows you just like where she was at that point, where she post Brooklyn. It was, or even just build up to Brooklyn. It just shows you that her, like you said, her arc of her career was unbelievable. It is unbelievable.
That's where NXT can take you. That's where NXT can do for you. Take you from people questioning if your character is mentally adept to becoming possibly the biggest star in wrestling.
So,
and it's not too late for that to happen.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You think it is?
I don't think the character is too late for the character to work, but it's too late for her to ever reach those heights. Yeah. The reason being, because the only way she can reach those heights is she got to lose. She got to lose, and she got to lose and lose and lose and lose and lose and lose and get turned on and lose and have everybody turn on her and lose and get jumped and lose and lose and lose. Then build back up, and we're not going to deal with that.
So what you're saying, she has to go on a Kurt Hawkins type losing streak?
It ain't got to be that far, but it has to be significant to where she's always in the opportunity to possibly win, and then the ball gets kicked out. Charlie Brown, she needs to continue to line up to kick the field goal, and Lucy needs to continue to pull the football away. That's why we loved her from NXT, because she was endearing, because she failed and she tried and she lost and she made us feel for her. And then once she finally got a groundswell of actual momentum, we felt like we were a part of that, and we helped her build up. And then she failed again. And then we helped her continue to build back up to the point where she was good enough to beat Charlotte clean in an non-title match. And she was big enough to beat Becky clean in a non-title match. Then she was good enough to beat Sasha finally. And that was because of us.
Yes, that was very much our victory as WWE fans, that was very much our victory as well as Bayley's.
Yeah.
And I would say, as a wee segue here, for the tag team title, the best tag team title match, this is a similar instance where it felt like it was a victory for the fans as well as the baby faces. So, first of all, with 6%, in third place was DIY versus Authors of Pain. 16% in second place was the three-way ladder match, DIY, Authors of Pain and Revival. And with 70% of the vote was a 2 out of 3 falls match between Revival and DIY.
In Toronto, right?
Yeah. See, as I'm going through these matches, can you imagine all of these on one card?
Well, can I point out one thing real quick? Just real quick, and we'll get to it. In the best men's title match, the winner got 72% of the vote. In the best women's title match, the winner got 74% of the vote. In best tag team title match, the winner got 70% of the vote. So NXT, with all its classics, all these tremendous matches that have happened in these title divisions, title matches, but yet these three matches above and beyond, by far, fans remember as truly great. And that is really something to take note of, that all these great matches, and by far, it's these three. That I just think that's amazing.
And we've not even finished picking the best matches either.
Right.
So, it just shows, like, the 2 out of 3 falls match, that was one of those ones where the Revival, opposite from Bayley, they just won all the time, and you couldn't stop them. They even dethroned American Alpha again, which I was shocked at when it happened. Understandably, American Alpha were on their way to the main roster, but no NXT champion had ever won a title twice. At the time, that's
only
right.
You won the title and then you got moved up, and they surprised everybody, won it again.
And I genuinely see their Brooklyn match that they had, Brooklyn 2. I genuinely believed that DIY were going to win the first time around. Like, that was a heart and mouth with the near pinfalls. Oh, I can't believe they kicked out of that, and to see them lose was genuinely heartbreaking.
Didn't Dash climb underneath the LED board
to
pull him down?
It was
great stuff.
The only small thing about that match was that Gargano could have reached the rope in that first match. But apart from that, the heartbreak of the first match that they had just led to the sheer elation of how they won the second match, and the way they won it. That's a visual that will stay with me for a long time, with both the members of the Revival in submissions grabbing at each other frantically, trying to make sure that the other person doesn't tap out. Even Triple H and Stephanie stole that idea in their match at WrestleMania.
This is a good point. It was a Triple H idea to begin with. But yes.
That's true. It's just such a stunning visual, and it's one of those ones, see where you get, if you get like a plaque of a match, and I think it was the picture that was on the plaque for Match of the Year, and it was just a great visual at the end. It didn't end the storyline, but for that chapter in the story, it was a top-notch win, and it was a really good, feel-good moment for the fans. What do you think, Ricky?
Yeah, the finish to that match was one of the best finishes you'll ever see. Both, like you say, both men clutching at each other, desperately trying to not tap and lose. Unbelievable stuff. Yeah, I like to say, as I was saying, where you're like, you in the first match around, you genuinely didn't really know what was going to happen or where it was going, or like, right, it's over now. Nope, not that. So the second match is one of my absolute all-time favourite tag team matches. And then, like you said, if you go down, well, that 2 out of 3 falls match, that correct me, was that that was on just a normal NXT show, wasn't it? It wasn't the Takeover, was it?
The American Alpha one? Yes, just a TV taping.
Yeah, because I think Alpha went up not too long after it.
No. The 2 out of 3 falls match was the match AOP debuted in, wasn't it?
Yes, no, AOP debuted at the end
of that match, right?
No, Takeover the end.
Oh, literally the end. Okay.
Yeah, that takeover, the where Finn and Joe.
But it
fought in
was
the cage.
No, AOP debuted beating up American Alpha.
Was that on TV, or was that not at the takeover at the end?
I'm looking it up now.
Okay.
I'm looking at it right
Go
now.
ahead, Rick. Yeah.
But we'll talk about this a wee bit. See, you know what I noticed as well? You're talking about American Alpha, and again, they only got 2 votes. They were some team. It's just so happens that their title matches, they only had a few title matches in a short space of time. Do you know what I mean? Have you found out yet?
It was Takeover the end. Yes, you were absolutely right. But and you were correct that match was not. I know it was against American Alpha. Because Revival won, they walked out, and American Alpha was getting there. Hey, thank you, we love you. Hey, and they came out and beat the holy hell out of them. But I thought that match was a 2 out of 3 falls match. It was not. You both were correct. I apologize.
No need to apologise.
You know, I'm also quite surprised War Games didn't make the list.
Well, people hated it. I'm sorry. Let me correct myself.
That wasn't a title match.
People were
sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right. That's true.
But people were upset that the match was not old school War Games. So while they enjoyed what happened, they let the name deter their enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so we'll move on to the best non-NXT title match. Right, 8 votes, third place for Sami Zayn versus Nakamura. I'm very pleased to see that make the list, although I didn't pick it myself. I picked second place, which was Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate. I know that was a title match, but it wasn't one of NXT's title. That got 19 votes and 38%. Oh, sorry.
No, you flipped it.
I flipped it. I've got that wrong. That's actually quite a surprising turnout. So it was Gargano and Ciampa with 16 votes who came in second place. And with 3 more votes, Dunne and Bate came first. Does that surprise any of you?
It does shock me, yeah. When I read it, I thought you might have just switched the numbers.
No.
I voted for Gargano Ciampa, but hey.
Yeah, I thought maybe you done a little. You made an adjustment there just so it would be Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate number 1.
No, I'm pretty sure. Right, talk amongst yourselves about the Dunne versus.
No, but we're just messing. Like, you know, we completely we like. That's
Right, you screwed up. Stop screwing up, Clive. Get it. I'm just playing. Just joking.
Please, let's.
Sami Zayn and Cesaro.
Yeah, they had a 2 out of 3 falls match. You remember?
That wasn't a rival, was it?
No. The 2 out of 3 falls match had already happened.
Oh, right, okay.
And Cesaro and Zayn 4 was at Arrival. Yeah.
Are you so, Rance? You're quite shocked that Dunne versus Bate came first then?
Over Gargano Ciampa, yeah. Gargano Ciampa got 5.5 stars. Yes, but that's not a diss on Bate Dunne because that is one of the best matches we've ever seen at a Takeover.
Chicago 16, 17?
Yeah, last year it was.
Mm-hmm. What can you remember what? Do you remember what Nakamura and Sami Zayn got?
4.5.
I think it was 4.5. Yeah.
All right, okay.
It's a shame. Again, it's one of those ones. It's a shame that didn't get more votes. But I just thought personally that Dunne versus Bate was such a surprise to see these two guys that did well in the UK special have such a. It did help that they were in front of the Chicago crowd, but at the end of the day, we can't change that. It happened, and the Chicago crowd lapped that match up. It was top-notch work from both. It actually made me appreciate Bate a lot more because I thought he was the wrong choice to win the UK title. We've talked about this in the UK special that we did a couple of weeks ago, Rance. But with Dunne winning, that was just a great story. They had high-flying, they had submission stuff, there was pub brawl or barroom brawl action going on, and it was a really heightened finish, just excellent. But I'm surprised it beat Gargano and Ciampa, Ricky.
So this was another one of those moments where Clive texted me the next morning, just sort of asking, have you watched Takeover yet? And I hadn't watched it yet, and it was just, I'm just going to paraphrase, I can't remember the exact message, but it was more or less along the lines of, make sure you watch Dunn and Bate. Like, if you're not going to watch any match from the Takeover, you have to watch that match. So it says that tells you, like, because Clive said earlier on, that once we see a match that we love, we make sure we tell the other one, like, I don't care what you do or what you don't want to watch, make sure you watch this specific match. I voted Gargano Ciampa. I think that what sets that apart from anything else is the fact that it was like a year-long storyline. Match quality itself was just unbelievable. And then that moment, as they both sat down in the middle of the ring, just reminiscent of the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yep.
That, like, match quality alone, if you compare the match side by side, like, I don't think there's too much of a difference, but what separates that match to just about any other match that you'll see is that it was almost like a culmination of a year-long feud. Obviously the feud's now going on, but the storyline is what set that apart in my mind.
See, that's the thing. I'll sort of tie this up with the next category, which was best overall story, and Gargano and Ciampa had a whopping 70% of the votes for best overall story. Sami Zayn's transition between Zayn and Owens, that came second with 11 votes, and Dream vs. Black came third with 2 votes. But Gargano Ciampa, the length of the story was obviously helped, not the best term for it because Ciampa was legitimately injured, but it was brewing for so long and you just didn't know what was going to happen with Ciampa returning, if he did, and what he would do when he returned. It was great storytelling. One thing that's puzzling me now is that, would you both agree that an unsanctioned match is probably the ultimate feud ender?
Should be.
So, would you not have had the street fight first, and which is going to happen this week, upcoming Takeover, and then have the unsanctioned match second?
Well, I think the situation is unique. Because with as much as Ciampa had been doing to Gargano, and if you remember, it had to be a sanction actually. If you remember, because Gargano lost his job because of Ciampa. So they couldn't, in good faith, kayfabe, sanction a match with a guy who didn't work there anymore. But they realized that the situation wasn't going to go away, so it was unsanctioned only because Gargano didn't work there. So it's a little different than your traditional unsanctioned match, which is two guys who hate each other, and it's too brutal for the company to sanction it. This wasn't that. This was, Gargano doesn't work here no more. Y'all got to fight. We want Gargano to wrestle here no more, but we can't give him a match. So you know what? You guys fix your problem. 2 birds, 1 stone. Okay.
I can accept that.
And the other thing would be that, obviously, Ciampa tweeted out earlier on along the lines that it was an unsanctioned match. Yeah, so you didn't beat me. Which I don't know if this now, next weekend at Chicago, will be the culmination of the feud.
I would hope to God they end this in Brooklyn, because this is the last Brooklyn Takeover.
Yeah, I would as well.
It would only be right for the fans.
Mm-hmm. So that sort of, I would assume, I know we'll be talking about it later, but I would then assume that it would be Ciampa that goes over.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, like, to me, the wrinkle would be if Candice turns on Johnny, but I don't think that would happen.
No, they don't got the balls for that.
Yeah, like that. That would give Ciampa, if it's even possible, even more heat and make him even more hated. But what it would do for Johnny as a babyface would be just utterly ridiculous. Where you would have a man who tried to end his career, who then comes back and ultimately takes his wife from him.
Well,
No,
that's Raven Sandman, so, basically.
I don't
But can you imagine? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't think that's the route they're going down. Do you mean take?
No, I don't think they will either.
But are you thinking take the wife as a trophy?
No, she turns on Johnny.
Nah,
She wants a real man. She wants a real man.
I think it's going to elevate to Ciampa will directly attack Candice LeRae.
That's it. Yes. Can you the heat he would get? Oh my God.
Yeah, honestly, I think that they've done this where she was inadvertently struck and was out cold, even though she was intergender wrestling all over the place. But I think they're going to go down that road, and that will lead to something like a Hell in a Cell where Candice can't come in at Brooklyn.
Right. So on that then, refresh my memory. Triple H and Ronda Rousey had like a face-off at WrestleMania.
He never hit her though.
Yeah, he never hit her.
He never hit her.
Right. Okay.
He was willing to hit her, but he never got a chance to hit her.
So yeah, that's my only reservation about that.
Sure, and they might be able to get away with NXT because it's so smallly watched. But I would defend
I love it though.
Right. I will defend that Ciampa Gargano Candice spot to the death. All I heard is people saying, "But Candice didn't wrestle with all these intergender matches." You're right, but if you look at the angle in which Johnny fell, he elbowed her in the back of the head, so she was knocked out cold by the elbow. If I would do that to you right now or anybody, the chances are you could be knocked out. So it wasn't an egregious thing for her to be knocked out in that manner. Had he not elbowed her in the back of the head, then yeah, everybody got a point. But he elbowed her cold, knocked out.
Yeah, I've not got a problem with that, like because of the intergender wrestling. We're in WWE now; it's different rules and all that. So, does it?
The only issue is you just had issue with Rich Swann because of domestic violence. Me and Carl talked about this on the Outsiders Edge the other day. I'm all for intergender wrestling, but you would give yourself a slippery slope if you're going to say, okay, it's cool for men and women to fight on our show, but if a man gets arrested or called for domestic violence, he's fired or suspended. That's a real slippery slope to go down.
So answer me this if you can. Right, I'm not in no way do I ever support a man putting his hands on a woman.
We all agree with that, yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not talking about wrestling wise. I'm just talking life.
Real life.
So what if I'm trying to think. So let's put it this right. We don't know him personally, right? So Leonardo DiCaprio and Django Unchained plays a racist man. By all accounts, like you said, we don't know him personally, but he doesn't come across racist, or he's never had he doesn't have racist tendencies or whatever. Because he plays that man on TV. Do we assume that's who he is in real life? Do we assume that he supports that?
No.
You know, so that's what I'm saying. So that's where do people now look at the WWE, look at wrestling, and say, so Tommaso Ciampa has just flattened Candice with a steel chair. WWE look at that, use imploring men around the world that you have a dominance over women, you can get away with that. So that would be my only thing, is that
you're right.
Can people separate reality and fiction? Because at the end of the day, it is fiction, but I understand why people would have a problem with that, and that's why I think that they probably won't go down that route. As much heat as Ciampa would get from it, I think they look at it and say, no, we could do without that just now.
Regular people can tell the difference, but you have people like Fox News who's ready to jump on something, right? So but again, from what I'm saying, yeah, whatever you do at home and what you do, you are not on the hook for what you do at home based on what you do at work. Like, I get all that. That's absolutely right. But what I'm saying is, if, let's say, knock on wood, God forbid any of this happens, just speaking straight hypotheticals here, right? Let's say one wrestler who's married to another female wrestler is dating another female wrestler. Say TMZ comes out and he got arrested last night for getting in a fight with her, right? He would immediately be suspended without pay until they figured out what happened, and he'd probably be fired.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, what if literally the next day that happens on a Sunday, Monday Night Raw, that night we have Sasha versus Finn Balor. I'm just saying the optics can be made to look bad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm just saying I'm cognizant of the fact that could look bad, and this is a publicly traded company. This isn't a company that can do whatever it wants anymore. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I'm completely 100% for intergender wrestling. They train together. Women are just as good at everything men can be as good at. So I'm nothing against it at all. I just understand the business of it. That's all I'm saying. So forgive me for interjecting that, because I know that's not where we wanted to go. But
well, to lighten the mood a wee bit, this next pick category is just NXT are famed for having really good entrances, the music, and I thought I'd put a category in to see who people's favourite entrance music is. Now, where is this list for a wee second? It's disappeared, guys. No, it's not.
Me?
No, it's
the list.
The list. I've found the list. I just found the list, right? So, 1 vote. So I'll just list all of them. 1 vote for Almas, Sanity, Zayn, Undisputed Era, Tyler Breeze, and Lars Sullivan. I wonder if that's a troll. 2 votes for the Ascension, which is the correct answer. This was actually a quiz question. That's the correct answer. The Wyatts, Ricochet, and Gargano. 3 votes for Rude and Balor. Surprised that only 3 votes for Balor, because that's one main song. And Rude's actually, because that's one over song
Glorious.
As well. 12 votes in second place for Nakamura. Understandable. What I'm a bit surprised at is that Aleister Black came first with 18. Now, as you both know, I am a metal music fan. I do really enjoy this song, but to beat Nakamura, that's a strange one.
I picked Nakamura.
So did I.
No, you didn't. You picked Ascension.
I know, but in the heart of hearts,
really?
I did, and I mean it.
For so long, at times when we might be on a train or we're just sitting at work or whatever, you'll just hear them just sort of just randomly singing it. I was convinced you would have picked Ascension.
I did pick the Ascension.
I need video. I need video of Clive by himself on the train with his headphones in.
I actually reenacted their entrance on a video once where I had the house to myself and I had the Ascension music full blast, and I actually rose. I ascended from the bottom of the screen.
You were sitting that to me and John Ross, I remember.
That's hilarious.
Do you remember who I reenacted that day?
Yes, Muhammad Hassan.
That's hilarious.
I had the scarves and everything. I voted Ricochet.
Really?
I really liked it. I really liked it. I like Nakamura, fine. Like, you know, it's great. I can't argue with that. But there was just something about Ricochet's entrance music that I absolutely loved.
I was singing
I can't tell you what, but I just really like it.
I was humming it for a long time last week, but there was a time a few months ago where I had Aria Devari's song stuck in my head for a long time.
The new one?
That
is pretty addictive, yes.
That's fucking excellent. Right.
The Wyatts is probably more so the entrance as a whole, as opposed to just the music.
Mm-hmm. Same with Roots.
Can I tell you a song that's tremendous, but was only played a couple of times?
Mm-hmm.
You remember Adam Rose's first theme before they didn't pay the guys and had to remake it?
No.
Oh, okay, never mind.
They'll tell the story.
No, but so you remember his music? You remember Adam Rose's music, right? Right?
Oh God,
Well, the first theme was a little different than what he ended up using because they found it but they didn't pay the guys. So then once the guys realized it was hot and WWE wanted to use it, they jumped up the price and they're like, nah, screw that, we'll just remake it. But that first theme is called World Goes Wild, and I know the band's name, I can't remember it. Fire music.
Oh, what a claim that is. said with such passion as well.
Fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji.
Or in Adam Rose's case, fired emoji, fired emoji.
Boom.
Thank you. Right, last one. We finally made it to the end of the survey. Best ever takeover. Third place.
I don't even remember who I voted for, man. I don't even remember.
Third place goes to Philadelphia, my favourite. 6 votes for second place, War Games. An interesting choice there. And 30 votes, 60%, considering there have been 19, 20. I don't know if you count Arrival or not. Anyway, 60% of our voters picked New Orleans.
Revisionist history, brother.
Well,
it was great, but it just happened.
I know it just happened, but it was stupendous. That ladder match, the Gargano Ciampa, Almas Black. There's lots there, but I prefer Philadelphia because I think as NXT takeovers are always fantastic. Not the pacing, the match order, not even the match order. The quality of the matches and the sort of peaks and troughs of the crowd meant that the main event match regularly wasn't as good as a match earlier on in the card. But with Philadelphia, they got it spot on. Crescendoed all the way through. Shout out to the Aleister Black Adam Cole match. Thought that was excellent. And then to sort of finish it off with Gargano Ciampa. Even the tag team match I actually enjoyed. That was Undisputed Era versus Authors of Pain. Mm-hmm. That was an intelligent match. So that's
the match when Kyle O'Reilly debuted the Hulk Hogan-esque guitar playing.
So
that's notable. Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's why I prefer, just because the match quality gradually got better as the show went on, and it felt like it was the first time that had happened for me. What about yourself, Ricky? Who did you vote for?
You know, it's quite funny that you say that the match quality and order, etc., of the show, it just started off and it picked up as it went on throughout the show. I remember Bret Hart once said that's how a wrestling match should be. I'm just sort of going off on a tangent. It's just that brought up. He said he wrestled Chris Benoit once. I can't remember if it was just in front of it was a normal WCW or whatever it was. He says that it started off quite slow and people in the crowd weren't really paying attention. But he said by the time at the end of the match, everyone was at the edge of their seats, and he was like, "That's the way a match should go." So I know I'm going off on a tangent, but that just suddenly popped into my head. For me, it's New Orleans. So you had like 2 official 5-star matches, but like I said, there was 3 for me. Shayna Baszler and Ember Moon. Yep, I thought that was excellent. It was when Shayna Baszler started ramming her shoulder into the turnbuckle to sort of like pop it back into place or whatever. Like
savage.
Oh, it's ridiculous! I couldn't believe it. And then you had the tag title match as well, which I kind of enjoyed.
Oh yes, that was really good. And the screw job as well.
Yeah, at the end where Roddy Strong turns on your boy Pete Dunne. But I said 3 5-star matches coupled with those 2 matches as well were excellent. I can understand why you would want to go with Philadelphia, or if someone wanted to go say War Games potentially maybe as well, which is fine. But like I said, I don't, like Rance says, I don't know if it's just because it's more recent. I don't think so. I'd like to think that I'm giving them all a fair shake of it. I can't not go with New Orleans because, like I says, 3 5-star matches, and those 2 matches in between those 5-star matches were also really, really good matches. From top to bottom of that show, I thought, from the very moment it started to the moment it ended, I thought it was absolutely excellent.
Rance, although you can't remember your pick, do you have a choice now?
Well, looking at the data, as one Dana Brooke would say, Nola's probably answer. but I do remember I picked Brooklyn 3. And I think Rich has been on before, well, at least before Nola. Rich had mentioned that just if we go strictly by star ratings, Takeover Brooklyn 3 is the best, just by star ratings, is the best match in North American history. Best card in North American history. Because, like, every match was like 3.5 stars or higher. The
average star rating, then, yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember seeing that conversation, actually.
Yes, and it was a tremendous card. I mean, my God, the weakest match in the card could be argued was Sanity versus AOP, and that was so much fun.
Yes.
God, they went out there and they wrestled a hell of a match. But yeah, so. But now, with knowing 2020 hindsight, that Nola card was stacked. I mean, my God.
It was stupidly stacked. No, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, that was just ridiculous. And I think that is...
It kind of remind, not so much on the same level, but, you know, when people don't talk about KO and Finn that I said earlier on from Brooklyn, like, people don't talk about the tag match and the Shayna Baszler Ember Moon match because we're so fixated with the other 3 matches. And like I said, if you just go back and you just watch, if you take it one night at a time, you just watch all matches, all 5 matches over 5 nights, you will truly appreciate the tag match and the women's match, and that will stick out more in your mind. But I think the fact that you got those 3 other matches, it's all of a sudden we're all forgetting about the two matches in between it.
Can I tell y'all the card real quick to the Brooklyn 3?
Please do.
Let's remind.
I've just pulled it up now.
Almas Gargano 1 opens the show. Sanity versus the Authors of Pain in the match we just talked about. Not to mention, after the match, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish attacked both of them. Aleister Black versus Hideo Itami in a kickboxer versus striker match. Asuka Ember Moon 2 and McIntyre Bobby Roode and Adam Cole baby at the end.
Mm-hmm. It was actually quite special when you remind me. They've just hit
his debut felt really, really special as well.
Who's Adam Cole's?
Adam Cole's
baby.
He's doing very well for himself right now. I'm enjoying what's going on with Undisputed Era in general.
Like, I think I told you the story after Clive, certainly after Nola, when I was just... I don't know why I keep going back and I watch that moment where EC3 does the EC3 baby and Adam Cole looks at him and then it starts giving out some super kicks and then he does his Adam Cole baby, and I watched that time and time again, and the wife was sitting with me and I just kept putting on that 1 minute. It was almost like a 1 minute loop over and over and over again, and she was like, "What are you watching?" And I was like, "Come and watch this." And she was like, "Oh, he seemed..." Her actual words were, "Oh, he seems kind of cool." And she has no concept of what wrestling is these days, and I think that just shows you just what kind of aura he has and just how great he actually is when you've got a non-wrestling fan, and she literally knows nothing about wrestling now, and she can recognise that just by seeing this sort of 30-45 second clip.
That's what you think it is. It's because Adam Cole cute. That's all it is.
I said last week, I said on Outside the Ledge, remember, I'm a 10, so I'm kind of cute.
Well, you gonna be walking around the house in your Velveteen Dream clothes, and she's gonna be like, "Nah, I'm gonna go to the Adam Cole guys." Okay.
Velveteen Dream clothes, rocking the Muhammad Hassan music.
Mix it all together, right?
Aye. Well, that concludes the survey. Thank you both for joining me in this conversation. That was some top-notch discussion there about NXT, and I want to give a big thanks out to all the people who took part, and the guys from the podcast network, the guys in the Wrestling Squared Circle, Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you are. You gave us a really good talk tonight, so thanks for that. Now, the reason we did this is because, from my shite maths, I think I'm still right though. This is the 20th Takeover coming up next weekend.
That's correct. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's becoming part of the sort of Big Five weekend. They've made a weekend out of it now, so Chicago has a sequel. And the card, we've talked briefly about some of the matches. Lars Sullivan versus Aleister Black for the NXT title. Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream. Undisputed.
Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus, I know.
Oh.
Undisputed Era versus Danny Burch for the tag team titles. Shayna Baszler versus Nikki Cross for the for the Lassie's title.
Lassie's title. That's good. That's real good. It will never ever be called the women's title from now on.
I know.
It's the Lassie's title.
The Lassie's title. And last but not least at all, Gargano versus Ciampa too. Now,
oh yeah, that's nothing, right? That's just a throwaway match.
Well, we have actually talked a bit at length about that, so we'll touch on the other ones, unless you have any burning issues you want to talk about in Gargano and Ciampa.
We have talked about that ad nauseum, unless Ricky wants to. I'm good.
I suppose the only question is, does it exceed what we saw a couple of months ago? That's it.
It better. And that's unfair to them, but that's the bar they chose to set it. They had that ability to set it where they wanted, and they decided to set it at the moon. So now you got to hit Mars.
I suppose it kind of reminds me of Omega Okada 1, where you're like, right, you can't possibly top that match, and then they go out and do what they've done, and now you're like, right, well, Dominion's just round the corner. You're not going to top what you've done, but then in the back of your mind, you're like, oh my goodness, they're going to wrestle all night long. So yeah, so the bar is high, but I'm looking forward to it.
If they got 6 stars in the first match, and they got 6.25 in the second, this 2 out of 3 falls match, does that mean they're going to get 13.25, 13.5? Right? So, I think the match is right, huh?
I know. Right, quick tangent. How long does that match last?
I'm going to make a bet right now. It will last 71.5 minutes.
Oh, well, I was going to say 3 hours, but that sounds more plausible. It's definitely going over an hour. It's definitely going over an hour because they went to an hour draw. One of the matches was an hour draw, wasn't it?
Fantastic. That's that one.
Yeah. Just, my God.
I think
they're going to wrestle in the morning. Like, they're going to go. Have you ever seen tennis matches that go 18 hours and they got to come back the next day? Or cricket matches that last a week? Was the 60-minute draw, was that not the one where Okada went to hit Rainmaker, but Omega got collapsed and missed the process? Oh, yeah. I think they go at least somewhere between 80 to 90 minutes.
Okay.
Probably. Which is why that card is so small. Think about it. It's only 7 matches.
Stacked.
So, I think I know the answer for this one for both of you. And it's a shame, actually. But what is the match you're looking forward to the least from Chicago 2?
Oh, Dream versus Ricochet.
Listen, troll.
Dream. DRAM is... I know what you're trying to get us to say Lars and Aleister Black, and you're not going to get me to say it. Because the answer is Nikki Cross. And I'm sorry, but it's the truth.
That's an unacceptable answer.
You have just been kicked off the podcast. Thank you for coming.
Well, that is my second least favourite, so I understand where you're coming from. I know I'm a big Nikki Cross mark, but it's just that the other matches I'm looking forward to more. Lars Sullivan, again, we talked about this earlier. Could it be EC3? And I think it's not the best match that Black could start his defence with, his proper defence. But it's just a placeholder for hopefully a good opponent at Brooklyn 3 or 4 or 5, whatever it is. Tag team title match, Undisputed Era versus Danny Burch. How do you feel about this one? Now remember, I know it had Pete Dunne in it, but the 6-man tag match that they had a few Takeover TV ago, 1 and 2, that's right, that was really good, and I think Lorcan and Burch have got a good chemistry together. They bring a good game. Undisputed Era bring a good game as well, and they cheat to do it sometimes. Do you think this could be a sleeper hit?
Definitely.
I'll let Rance go first, sorry.
No, yeah, well, definitely. Only Lorcan is the most underrated wrestler on the NXT roster, which I'm very glad he's finally getting an opportunity to shine. Only Lorcan's been there, 2.5 years, almost 3 years, and this is his first Takeover match. It's crazy.
Shocking.
But him and Danny Burch, it is shocking, yeah. But him and Danny Burch have great chemistry. Only Lorcan feels like he should have been born in Blackpool, doesn't he?
Aye.
Just a little bit? Yeah. He feels like, he's from Boston, which is almost like America's version of Blackpool. But my man is like, he's a Brit, at heart. So those two match, and they're going to beat the holy hell out of Kyle O'Reilly and Roddy Strong, and they have great chemistry. They have a real beef between each other. I guarantee you this is going to surprise. Yeah. You remember how you said Dunn and Bate surprised you at Chicago?
Mm-hmm.
This won't go. I don't think this will hit the star rating that hit if we're going by star ratings. But in terms of enjoyment, this will be that match. The one where you're like, oh man, well, I didn't think it was going to be great, but this was amazing.
So Ricky, expect a text the next morning saying, "Have you seen the tag title match?"
Well, I generally stay up now for takeovers, right. So I will be texting you in the morning saying that. Yeah, I kind of agree with Rance. I think what the good thing about this is that there is that genuine ill will towards one another, and I think that will come through in the match itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to. Apart from anything, it's going to be violent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's going to be real physical. And to go back to your previous question, which match am I least looking forward to? I'm kind of intrigued by them all, if I'm honest, and it sounds like I'm sitting on the fence, but I really want to see how Aleister Black does in the ring with a man of Lars Sullivan's size.
Agreed, totally. Which is why I didn't pick that match, because there was intrigue at least. Shayna
Baszler and Nikki Cross, they are just going to throw haymaker after haymaker at one another. And that could be real physical as well. So I'm, like I said, it sounds like I'm sitting on the fence, but I'm genuinely intrigued by every single match on the card.
Mm-hmm. The doc, Chad Matthews, asked a question on Facebook a couple of days ago. He thinks that over the whole weekend, including Money in the Bank, the most anticipated match has got to be, without a shadow of a doubt, Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream.
Yeah, I would agree.
This is money. Absolute money. I don't know if it will get 5 stars, but it's going to be something special.
Call me a WWE shill. I'm fine. I don't really care. But I'm more excited for Velveteen Dream Ricochet than I am for Okada Omega, 2-3 Falls, or Naito Jericho. Like, that's how excited I am for this match.
I mean, I am too. I mean, I am looking forward to those matches at Dominion, don't get me wrong, but I watch more WWE than I do in New Japan. So just seeing the story evolve, and we touched on Dream earlier, how there's actually some really clever character work going on with him right now. It's going to be a really interesting dynamic. We've seen what Dream can do with the internet darlings. We've seen what Ricochet can do, only fleetingly so far. But that flip, I mean, this isn't just a spot fest match for Ricochet. That was a message of, that was a different kind of somersault this time.
But can I also add some extra context to this?
Mm-hmm.
They wrestled one match together that got destroyed by Lars Sullivan. Then the next week they wrestled a handicap match, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go back and watch their first match, and they literally matched hold for hold, move for move, spot for spot.
They had some chain wrestling going on at one point.
and like everything Ricochet could do, it was like I can do just as well. When they tagged together for that 5 minutes that the match was going on before Dream turned on them, you could argue that they were the best tag team in the world, as good as they were, right? But I think the story of the match is, and I really do hope you write a column about it, because that's you are dead on the money about Dream and the truth of his character.
It's in the works. It's in the works.
Beautiful. So you guys listen. There you go. But I really do think that the beauty of this feud is that WWE is making a 10, 15-year vet who was unilaterally known as quite possibly the best high flyer in the world and maybe the best wrestler outside WWE for a while. And this kid who's not even 24 yet, and they're making them look like equals. Mm-hmm. And they're doing it in such a way which isn't making Ricochet look bad. In fact, it's elevating Dream. That's the beauty of this feud, in my opinion. Because Dream should be overshadowed by far. That was the beauty of him and Aleister Black. Dream was overshadowed by Black. That's why he just wanted recognition. But he stepped up to the plate. They've already wrestled. This will be their first match wrestling, and he was toe for toe, hold for hold, punch for punch, flip for flip. He was with him. So I find that so interesting going into this match now, knowing what we know.
Mm-hmm. Ricky, as I said, this isn't going to be a spot fest spectacular for me. It very well may be, but there's something else going on here, and it could end up. I think it will steal the show. I know I'm putting pressure on it, and I might overhype it for myself and be disappointed, but I really don't think it's going to happen.
To go back to what you say, as Doc said, I would agree that I'm probably looking forward to this match more than any next weekend. I would probably also say I think this will be the match of the weekend as well. I think the moment where Ricochet done the crazy flip over the top rope and landed on his feet and walked straight up to Dream, I think at that moment it was just a case of, can we fast forward these next few weeks? I need to see this match.
Game on, basically.
Yeah, it was like, oh my god, like it wasn't even so much like, what the hell is he just... It was a case of, what on earth has he just done? And then you saw Dream's face, and it was like you said, it all just goes back to the whole, he's vulnerable, he's fragile, and we see that now and then. And like I said, this match, it had a chance to rival Almas, Gargano, and the 3 matches from New Orleans as well. I agree. I don't think it will just be flip after flip after flip. That's not really... You don't see that. Like, Dream has the ability to wrestle various different ways as well. So the match itself, I'm not entirely sure how it's going to play out. But like I said, I think what Rance says, what you saw where they took sort of move for move and they were almost just doing the same thing after each other, that could be a theme that we're going to see in it, like whatever you can do, what you can do, I can do. Mm-hmm. So, like I say, just to go back to my original point, that probably is going to be match of the weekend for me, and I know Rance says that he's looking forward to this match more so than Okada Omega. Like, that's a bold statement. I don't know if I would necessarily agree, but if Okada Omega is my number one match that I'm looking forward to in these next couple of weeks, then that one is directly right behind it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what you're going to give with Okada Omega. We've seen 3 of them. We know this, they're going to be the most mind blowing matches we've ever seen. But we've seen it. We have an idea of what could happen. There's no telling what these two, Dream and Ricochet, could possibly do. We have no idea what they could do.
I agree with that, but I think for me it's... I'm not sure which match I'm looking forward to, but in terms of Okada Omega, it's more so I've seen what you have done, but yet I still find myself still so intrigued to see what else is going to happen, if anything new.
That's
and
fair.
I think that's a compliment there in itself as well. That I've witnessed you now three. They had three matches in the last sort of 18 months or so, and yet I'm still sitting here ready to watch match number 4, despite already seeing 3 of these, and I'm still sitting on the edge of my seat counting down the minutes because we're only a couple of days away from it. So
Saturday, yeah.
Well, Saturday morning over there, isn't it? Or evening, sorry.
Saturday, one of them, yeah. But it's this, yeah. And part of this might be my bias because I'm team anti-Okada, so I don't. They could wrestle a 25-star match if Okada wins. I don't care. That's where I've gotten with him at this point.
I've says I don't follow New Japan like on a weekly basis or anything, so I will watch. I'll pick and choose when I watch. That's why my opinion of the product itself is never going to be strong. I won't ever turn around and criticise it because I've not watched it enough. So, and I know what you're saying, that you're fed up. Like if Okada wrestles a 25-star match, it doesn't matter if he wins. I mean, that's why I've always wondered if someone could explain to me what the difference between Okada having this title reign and what the difference between him and Roman Reigns. And I ask that like genuinely. I'm not trying to rub people the wrong way. Like if I'm genuinely intrigued by something like that. Like what is the difference? Why is Okada universally loved when from the outside looking in it looks like he's been quote unquote forced down your throat if he's in a 2-year title reign? But why can't Roman be accepted? But I'm not here to criticise because I haven't watched that product enough. It's just a genuine question that I would hope someone could answer.
Well, yeah, how that is after the show, because we could very easily answer that for you.
Gentlemen?
Yes?
Quiz time?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just splicing it in. Hold on. Here's your music now. It's fucking quiz time with Ricky and Clive and friends. A fucking WWE quiz. So, ladies and gentlemen, with it obviously being an NXT special, it's going to be an NXT quiz. And if you listened to last week's episode of Outsider's Edge, where Ricky and myself were on, Rance destroyed us with just pure cold facts, and it was devastating. So,
sorry.
I'm going to go an old familiar route for Ricky and myself, but I'm not sure if many of the listeners have heard us do this form of quiz. Basically, Rance and Ricky, you will compete against each other. One of you will say a wrestler's name. So let's say, for instance, you say Bailey. Well, that's a bad example. Let's say you use Sasha Banks, and Ricky has to use the last letter of Sasha Banks' full name, and the wrestler he picks has to start with that S at the end of Sasha Banks, right?
Okay.
Are you following me?
The letter of the last letter of the last name.
So you say, let's say you picked Sasha Banks. Ricky could pick Sami Zayn as a result because it right, and then you would have to think of someone that starts with N.
Yeah,
and we'll do it. Okay. So if you hesitate or if you say, I've not got anything, I've hit a blank, then you lose a point, and the first person to lose 3 points loses. Okay.
So
can we? Oh, go ahead.
I think we might be asking the same question. What about tag teams?
Yes, any act that'll do.
Like no, yeah. So, but can we use say,
Authors of Pain,
or can we or even if we use Sanity, can we then use Nikki Cross separately or?
Not within that round. How's that?
Right. Okay.
That's fair.
Okay. So, Rance, you're the guest. Would you like to go first?
Sure, and I will start off with the very first ever NXT champion, Seth Rollins.
Sami Zayn.
Neville.
E. Eric Young.
Grand Metalik.
Who?
Grand Metalik.
Was he on NXT?
Oh shit! I forgot. My bad. I forgot it was NXT. My bad. So yeah, I lost that point. My bad.
Okay.
My bad. Good job. I was thinking all rosters. That's my bad.
We can do it with all rosters in another game, one other day. All right.
Yeah, but it's NXT day, so yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's my bad.
That's all right. Right, next round, Ricky, you start this one.
Anyone, or do I need to continue from the previous round?
Just anyone.
Alright, Aleister Black.
So that's K. Kyle O'Reilly.
Why? Oh, why?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Nope.
You've both lost a point apiece, right? So, Rance, your turn.
All right, let's go with the big homie, Ember Moon.
N. Has Neville been said?
Yes.
Yes.
N. We will go with Nakamura.
Oh, wait.
That name.
Yeah,
I'm good with that. I'm okay with that. Are you okay with that?
I'm not, no. It's got to be the full name.
N.
3,
Nope.
2, 1, 0.5, 0.
Damn.
Sorry, Ricky, but it has to be the full name.
The pressure of the moment gets to me.
Do you want to go one more round? Because I feel like that was like really fast.
We can go one more.
How about the first to lose 5 then?
Well, he only needs one more to lose, so that works for me.
Right. Okay, Rance, your turn.
I just started that one. I did Ember Moon, remember? So it's on Ricky.
I know, but he lost that round.
Oh, okay. Make it take it. I like it. Okay. Let's start with Scott Dawson.
N again.
Nikki Cross.
Nikki Cross.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
So it's that A.
Mm-hmm.
I said Aleister Black, didn't I? Yes, I did. I will go now. Okay. Is this? I know this is what it used to be called. So am I going to get it? Adrian Neville.
Oh.
I said Neville already, but that's fine. That works for me. If you want to use that.
Oh,
wanna do that?
That's up to Clive.
Oh, that's a technicality and a half.
Works for me because I got a response. I'm ready to go.
Right, see, because already...
I can take it back. I've got someone else, but...
No, do you know what? I should have penalised Rance for it, and I didn't because it wasn't his full name in NXT, so I'll give you it.
Right, no, okay.
Is that okay?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Is that okay?
That's perfect fine with me. Yeah, you're right.
Right,
Yes.
so Adrian Neville, we're on to E again. Rance, your turn.
Eric Rowan.
Oh, he's got all the ends there.
That's a strategy.
And I will go with...
I've got one, but I'm the quizmaster.
Right, I don't know if she was known.
Say her name anyway.
It's not, I'm sure. No, she's not.
5, 4,
I think that's her actual real name
3,
I was thinking of.
2, 1. Sorry. You're 3 down, Ricky. Right.
Damn.
Rance, you get to go again.
Okay. Tommaso Ciampa.
A.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Riley? Or can we go way back?
He wrestled on NXT, so
He wrestled, yeah.
Yeah.
so that's why, right?
Yep.
Yep.
I can't even think of anyone in that one. 4, 3, 2, 1.
You got me. Yeah.
Sorry, that's 2 points down for Rance. Ricky, you get to go first this time.
Okie doke. Drew McIntyre.
That's an E?
Yep.
You already said Eric Young.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I have the perfect one for you, Rance, but I can't help you.
Wow, E?
Oh,
I've got
5, 4,
Wow, I can't
3,
think of an E?
2, 1.
Did I say Ember Moon already?
You did.
Yeah.
And you're both at 3 lost points each, so pressure's on both of you again. Ricky, you get to start.
Wow. Can't think of an E. What's wrong with me?
Bo Dallas.
S?
Yep.
Haha. Steve Cutler.
So R. Rusev.
Nope. Alexander Rusev.
Right.
Right, okay. R.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, it's close. You're so close to losing, Ricky. Rance, you get to pick possibly the last wrestler the first wrestler of the last round.
Johnny Gargano.
Oh shit.
He was not in NXT, he was in 205 Live.
And you thought my quiz was mean? Oh my god.
Oh. Has there even been anyone with an O?
Yep. I got one in my mind right now. Former tag champ.
I know who you're talking about.
I just gave him a big hint too, by the way. I know you know that.
Former tag champ. My mind is going blank.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 1.
Wow.
Sorry, Ricky, you lost.
Oliver Gray. Oh.
And see the E that you struggled with, Rance?
Mm-hmm.
Elias Sampson.
Oh, Elias.
I had Emma.
And you could have...
Emma!
The beauty of if you picked Elias Sampson was it ends in N, and Ricky had struggled with N.
Yeah, that's why I should have used it, yeah.
So, this concludes a marathon podcast from us tonight. Rance, do you have anything you would like to plug before we leave?
Hey man, just keep following us. Follow me at It's Ray Cash, REY as Mysterio, CASH as in dollars. Outsiders Edge weekly. Holla at us there. On Social Suplex Podcast Network, World Class Radio Daily. Holla at us there on chairshot.com. I put a column out this week. It's not my favorite column because I put it out late, but it was about the CM Punk trial. Chairshot.com. But yeah, man, just, look us up.
Right, I'm going to nail this plug this time. I promise you all. You can follow us at Ricky and Clive on Twitter and Facebook. As well as on Facebook, you can check out the Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group where all the Social Suplex Podcast Network personalities are, as well as all the listeners and fans. You can check out socialsuplex.com, which has all the columns you can get your hands on, all the podcasts that we have. You can also subscribe to the podcasts and the columns via a newsletter. There's a subscribe option on the website, which you get emailed to you direct. The podcasts include One Nation Radio, Outsiders Edge, Keepin It Strong Style, ourselves, and Grown Men Watch This Shit. We're all available on the likes of Podbean, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Spotify. When you use those apps, please rate and review and give us 6.26 stars. Thank you. I did it. I kind of did it.
Well done.
Finally.
Yo, Adrian! Yo, Adrian!
Yo, Adrian Neville!
Please come back.
I know.
Baby, come back!
Did you see the sign on SmackDown behind the commentary table? Someone had a sign saying, "Where's Neville?"
I didn't know.
No, I didn't. Did you see Austin Aries saying, "Hey, you know,
Yes.
if they ever free you, you can come out at me."
Yep.
That would be good. They had a great rivalry. Ricky, anything you want to plug?
Nope.
I will no, actually, stop lying. You before we got on the call, you told us about your special Ricky boy band Velveteen Dream-esque calendars you're gonna come out.
It's just 12 months of Ricky.
12 months of Ricky, a
Yep.
different Velveteen Dream pose every month.
It's not Rusev Day anymore, guys. It's hashtag Ricky Day.
Ricky Day.
On that note, ladies
You know
and
what? I think one last thing. I'm probably going to have to get Ty Dillinger arrested for infringement, because that perfect 10, that's me.
Yeah, it's time to end. It's time to end. It's time to go. Thank you guys for listening.
Yes.
Oh, wait, that's your job. I'm sorry.
no, thank you. Thank you for coming on, Rance, and thank you for listening, and thank you for joining us in a very special NXT episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Good night.
Take care, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you next time.